Akkaraju sir. Then we will have NMPA 50th anniversary song. Then we will start the workshop. Introduction to workshop by Captain Manoj Joshi, Deputy Conservator NMPA. Then we are going to have a brief address on different acts and functions of major ports by Sri Krishna Bapi Raju, Senior Deputy Secretary. Then we will have the first session on workshop on Maritime Adversities by Captain L.K. Panda, ex-nautical advisor, Government of India. Then we have the second section by Captain S.I. Abul Kalam Azad, nautical advisor come additional DG, nautical in charge, followed by vote of thanks by Captain Shailendra Kumar.
Talán per l'oggi. Cambio un po'. Vai.
मंगलम, मन की वीणा से गूंजित ध्वनि मंगलम। स्वागतम 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 स्वागतम। कैसा पावन सुहावन समय आज है, आप आए अतिथियों में सरताज है। कैसा पावन सुहावन समय आज है, आप आए अतिथियों में सरताज है। देव की भांति पूजन करें आज हम, देव की भांति पूजन करें आज हम। स्वागतम 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 स्वागतम। मन की बगिया से हमने है गलिया चुनी, श्रद्धा के फूलों से हमने माला बुनी। मन की बगिया से हमने है गलिया चुनी, श्रद्धा के फूलों से हमने माला बुनी। करते हैं मिल के अर्पित सुमन आज हम, करते हैं मिल के अर्पित सुमन आज हम। स्वागतम 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 स्वागतम। मन की वीणा से गूंजित ध्वनि मंगलम, मन की वीणा से गूंजित ध्वनि मंगलम। स्वागतम 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 स्वागतम। May I request Captain Manoj Joshi to escort the dignitaries on the days. And I heartfelt thanks to Akshata, Divya, Sanket and Tejas for rendering a beautiful and soulful song and warmly welcoming our distinguished dignitaries in traditional manner and setting the perfect tone for today's function. May I request Captain Joshi to escort the dignitaries on the days, please.
सर लोग थोड़ा चाय पी रहे हैं 2 मिनट में।
I request other dignitaries also kindly join to the dais. The ports, a maritime commercial facilities that contains harbors where ship can dock and transfer cargo as well as people. The port serves as backbone of international trade, coastal shipping and cruise shipping. Around 95% of countries trade by volume and 70% by value are moved through maritime trade. This fact indicates the importance of maritime trade. According to United Nations Conference on Trade and Development Stat, there are 118,928 ships with 1.48 million tons of GRT worldwide. This number shows how big the maritime industry is. We are proud that New Mangalore Port is part of this mega industry since 1974 and contributing significantly in the overall economic growth of our country. At New Mangalore Port, we handle more than 1,400 ships every year. In today's workshop on maritime adversities, we are going to be educated, enlightened by a domain expert. The expert in the field will discuss the process and eventualities associated with shipping, the role and responsibilities of various stakeholders, preventive actions, preparedness and response system in the situation of adversities. Friends, on this occasion we have with us on dais Dr. Venkatraman Akkaraju, Chairman New Mangalore Port Authority as President of today's function, Captain Brijesh Chauta, Honorable Member of Parliament, Dakshina Kannada District as Chief Guest, Srimati S. Shanti, Deputy Chairperson of New Mangalore Port Authority as Guest of Honor, Sri Padmanabhachar, IOFS Chief Vigilance Officer, New Mangalore Port Authority as Guest of Honor, and also Captain L.K. Panda, ex-Nautical Advisor to Government of India, DG Shipping, Captain S.I. Abul Kalam Azad, Nautical Advisor to Government of India in charge and additional DG, Nautical DG Shipping as guest speaker, and Captain Manoj Joshi, Deputy Conservator, New Mangalore Port Authority. Friends, please join me in welcoming all the dignitaries with a big round of applause. Thank you. Light symbolizes abundance, prosperity and knowledge. May I request Captain Brijesh Chauta, our Honorable Member of Parliament of Dakshina Kannada District, to inaugurate this workshop on maritime adversities by lighting the lamp. I also request the dignitaries kindly join. Thank you, sir, for inaugurating workshop on maritime adversities. Friends, New Mangalore Port is 100% solar powered port and known as Green Port. Before we begin the program, we would like to give a green welcome to all the dignitaries with a plant. Now I would like to call upon Captain Manoj Joshi, Deputy Conservator NMPA, to welcome the gathering.
इस सभागार के मंच पे आज की इस वर्कशॉप में स्वागत करता हूं। अभी कार्यक्रम शुरू होने से पहले मुझे 4-5 मिनट मिले थे, तो मैं अपने सीनियर कैप्टन पांडा जो पूर्व नॉटिकल एडवाइज़र रहे हैं भारत सरकार के, उनके साथ बात कर रहा था तो उन्होंने सबसे पहले जो बात कही कि ये जो कार्यक्रम है ये अपने आप में एक बहुत यूनिक है, इन द सेंस कि ये सिर्फ, क्योंकि पांडा साहब यहाँ पहले भी आए थे 2 साल पहले, वो बता रहे हैं, तो दिस इज ए यूनिक प्रोग्राम विच इज हैपनिंग ओनली इन न्यू मैंगलोर, नोवेयर एल्स इन द होल कंट्री। तो इस सब के पीछे हमारी प्रेरणा हमारे अध्यक्ष महोदय हैं। अभी जब हम लोग वेट कर रहे थे साहब संसद सदस्य माननीय आने का, तो उसके बीच में भी बात कर रहे थे। तो नॉर्मली देखा जाता है कि वर्कशॉप में या एजुकेशन पे अगर हम लोग कुछ भी इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो लगता है कि ये एक्स्ट्रा खर्चा है, लेकिन ऐसी सोच नहीं है। यहाँ पर हम लोग ये आज आप देखेंगे, जब आप यहाँ से जाएंगे तो यू विल बी इनरिच्ड विद नॉलेज एंड व्हाट इज़ द लेटेस्ट ट्रेंड इन द शिपिंग। तो इस सोच के साथ मैं आप सबका फिर से स्वागत करता हूँ। कृपया एक एक वाक्य जो हमारे आज के वक्ता कहने वाले हैं इस पर ध्यान दीजिएगा। कौन सा वाक्य कब आपके काम आ जाए हम नहीं कह सकते, क्योंकि शिपिंग इट इज़ फुल ऑफ इंसिडेंट्स, एक्सीडेंट्स, सो प्लीज़ बी अवेयर। और ये आज करने का, आज देखिए भगवान ने भी ऐसा स्वागत किया, बरसात करके आपको बता दिया कि आने वाले समय में व्हाट इज़ अहेड ऑफ ऑल ऑफ अस। सो विद दीज वर्ड्स आई वेलकम यू ऑल वंस अगेन, एंड नाउ वी कैन डू द फॉर्मल स्वागत विद द.
May I request our chairman, Dr. Venkatramana Akkaraju sir, to present a planned and welcome our honorable member of parliament, Captain Brijesh Chowda sir. May I request Captain Manoj Joshi, Deputy Conservator, to present a planned and welcome our chairman, Dr. Venkatramana Akkaraju sir. I request Shri Jijo Thomas, Secretary NMPA, to welcome Srimati S. Shanti, Deputy Chairperson NMPA, with a plant and welcome this to program. May I request Shri Deepak Rath, Chief Mechanical Engineer, to present a plant and welcome our CEO Shri Padmanabhachar, IOFS. May I request Shri R. Veeraraghavan, FNCO NMPA, to welcome Captain L.K. Panda, ex-nautical advisor to Government of India, with a plant. May I request Shri S.B. Lagwankar, Chief Engineer Civil, to present a plant to Captain S.I. Abul Kalam Azad, nautical advisor to Government of India, in charge and additional DG Shipping. I thank our DC sir for welcoming address. May I request Captain Shailendra Kumar, Harbour Master NMPA, to present a plant and welcome to our Captain Manoj Joshi to this program. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to request our distinguished and illustrious chief guest, Captain Brijesh Chowda, the respected and honorable member of parliament from our Dakshina Kannada district, who has served with valor in the Indian Army and has been a tireless advocate for the development of our region, to kindly address this gathering and share his invaluable thoughts on this occasion.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ನ್ಯೂ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಥಾರಿಟಿಯ ಈ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ಶಾಪ್ ಆನ್ ಮ್ಯಾರಿಟೈಮ್ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಸಿಟೀಸ್, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ಐ ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಅ ವರ್ಕ್ಶಾಪ್ ಆನ್ ಮ್ಯಾರಿಟೈಮ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಸಿಟಿ, every maritime opportunities probably, but every adversity provides an opportunity is what they say. I really do not know whether it's the same in maritime industry also. ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ NMPA ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಯಶಸ್ವಿ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ವೆಂಕಟರಮಣ ಅಕ್ಕರಾಜು ಅವರೇ, ಡೆಪ್ಟಿ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಎಸ್ ಶಾಂತಿ ಅವರೇ, ನಾಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಡ್ವೈಸರ್ ಟು ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಟನ್ LK ಪಾಂಡಾ ಅವರೇ, ಡೆಪ್ಟಿ, ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಇನ್ವೈಟ್, Deputy Conservator NMPA Captain Manoj Joshi, Captain S.J. Abul Kalam Azad, Nautical Advisor, come Additional DG, Nautical. Captain Shailendra Kumar, HM NMPA. Did I leave anybody's name? Padmanabhachar. Former Minister Sri Nagaraj Shetty. Mr. Krishna Bapi, who is I interact with him, so he is one name I know, the Secretary of the Port. ಹಾಗೂ ಸೇರಿರುವಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಶೋರ್, ಬಟ್ ಈ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ the potential it has towards development is something which I truly believe in, because our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, when he took over as the Chief Minister of Gujarat in 2001, Gujarat was not a major trading hub. At least we had a history of trading. We had a history of trade networks much before independence. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, transformed Gujarat as a trading hub, and which he always keeps telling, it's port-led development, port-led development, he keeps telling. And his experience in Gujarat, in 2014 when he took over as the Prime Minister of India, multiple programs, be it the Sagarmala program, be it in the recent budget, the shipbuilding cluster and the Maritime Development Fund which is allocated. It's all pointing in one direction, that the Sankalp which is laid out, the Vikasit Bharat 2047, the Sankalp which is laid out, the port maritime industry has to play a big role in achieving that objective of Vikasit Bharat 2047, which he strongly believes in. And as a member of parliament of a region which has one of the most dynamic port, I should say, it's among the 12 ports, and one of the port which is celebrating its golden jubilee this year. So if I have to think of the development of this region, it cannot be without this port. To be honest and to be very forthright with you, I feel this region is an ocean of possibilities, and that possibilities can be realized only with port-led development, is what I strongly believe in. Mangalore New Mangalore Port Authority anna ನಿಜವಾದ ಅರ್ಥದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅದರ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲನ್ನು ಟ್ರೂಲಿ ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಕೇವಲ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಡೀ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ನನ್ನ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ನಂಬಿಕೆ. ಐ ರಿಯಲಿ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ನೋ ವೈ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಸಿಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್, ಆರ್ ದೇ ಕನ್ವೀನಿಯಂಟ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಫರ್ಗೆಟ್ ದಿಸ್. ನಾನು ಕಾಲೇಜಿನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಮತ್ತು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರಸ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ರೈಲ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಟಿವ್, ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್, ಇಫ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೈಟ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಬ್ಲೇಮ್ ಅನ್ನುವ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತನಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹೆಸಿಟೇಟ್ ಟು ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಇಫ್ ದ ರೋಡ್ ಟು Bangalore, and if a rail line from Mangalore to Bangalore is not according to the standards of 2024, or not according to the standards which our Prime Minister is envisioned, it's a collective failure. till the time we accept this reality, we cannot move forward. So, ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ when I became the member of parliament, the first priority or the top of my list, in my priority list, was to improve this communication line from Mangalore to Bangalore, both on road and rail. So towards that end, in the last 1 year, I have consistently pursued this matter. I do not know whether it's about the topic, but I will speak what I know and what I believe in. I have consistently pursued this issue, and yesterday in a press conference also I have told the NHI is trying to do a DPR on the Shiradi Ghat, which is the most important challenge for us. The railway also is trying to do a DPR to improve the gradient and create a better alignment, better gradient route and a better alignment route. So I have requested the Railway Board Chairman and the NHI Chairman and the concerned secretaries of both the departments and the ministers of both the departments to sit together and have a common DPR so that the environmental impact would be less and the forest clearances and the environment clearances can be speeded up, since it can be a joint project, which in principle they also agree. I would urge the NMPA Chairman, because important stakeholder of this project is NMPA. So I would request that from your end also, if you pursue this matter, we can jointly go and meet the shipping minister and the shipping secretary also. If the shipping ministry also adds on to this thing, we can very soon have a very good road network and a rail network between Mangalore and Bangalore, which would solve a lot of issues. Similarly, Ankola and Hubli, which Prahlad Joshi has been pursuing for long. This two network is very, very important for the overall development of Karnataka, and I feel that since Karwar has gone to seabird and it's become a defense port, this is the port which has to be developed for the overall development of Karnataka, and it can add to the GDP of Karnataka also, is what I strongly believe in. This is one issue which you have to consistently pursue, and I request the NMPA Chairman to have a strategic approach towards addressing this one issue. The second important thing which I have, after becoming a member of parliament, which I have taken up is the shipbuilding and the ship repair setup which we have to think of establishing in Mangalore. I've already spoken to the L&T ship repair unit which is there in Chennai. The additional secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs who is looking after US and the specific region, he's also told me that L&T is looking at the western coast to have a ship repair unit. I will discuss with the NMPA chairman in my future interactions with him. I do not know whether the NMPA has got a provision to give a ship repair setup to a private player. I really do not know. But we can work out together with L&T. They are ready to do a consultancy, feasibility study, and also invest in the project for an additional berth. Since we have a river by the side, we can work out a long-term thing where we can have a ship repair setup in Mangalore. We already have few shipbuilding, one or two shipbuilding companies in Mangalore. We have to pursue few shipbuilding, other shipbuilding companies, because the Prime Minister is very passionate about shipbuilding and ship repair, because it can create large employment, huge employment opportunities. A shipbuilding and a ship repair setup coming in Mangalore can create large opportunities in terms of employment. So towards that end, we'll also pursue that case. And in my recent interaction with the Prime Minister, when I met him, I told him this is the 500th year of Rani Abbaka's birth anniversary. This is the 50th year of NMPA's thing. Probably there can't be a better occasion to declare or invest in Mangalore, to create it as, if not South India's, at least Karnataka's important maritime hub and important trade hub of Karnataka. So the Prime Minister has been very positive, and we will try to invite him to Mangalore for the NMPS Golden Jubilee celebrations, probably somewhere in November. I've already hinted him this issue. We will take it further and try to get him. By then, if we have a concrete plan as to what we can do in Mangalore in terms of the port's development and in terms of the region's development, in terms of shipbuilding, ship repair, and maritime opportunities. We can get the Prime Minister and he can declare it for the people of Mangalore. Lastly, another thing what I'm thinking of Mangalore is we should have a Central Maritime University in Mangalore. I've already discussed with few consultants and we have prepared a project report which I have very soon I'm going to submit it to the shipping minister. We should have a Central Maritime University probably named under Rani Abbaka, which will think of new age technologies in maritime trade, which will think of oceanography, which will think of anything and everything connected to sea and trade. So I don't think there can be a better location than Mangalore in the West Coast, because this is an educational hub. This has got the students for that. This has got the resources to develop it. This has got an educational culture also. So this is something we should look at. So overall, I'm really looking at Mangalore as a potential trade hub of Karnataka. We will continuously pursue this matter. We'll have to create some excitement about this region, definitely, and have a strategic approach towards achieving that objective. I look forward to working with the NMPA, look forward to working with the trade bodies of Mangalore, look forward to working with the stakeholders involved in the port authority. Together we should develop a master plan towards this. Together we should have a strategic approach towards achieving this objective, and the chairman needs to guide us through this process. I wish all the best. More such activities should happen towards understanding the maritime adversities, also the opportunities. So I wish you all the best. Thank you for inviting me for this very good event. I would have thought of sitting in this program and understanding the adversities, but I have other commitments to attend today. So if you have a video clipping of this thing, I will definitely listen to this in my free time. Once again, I wish all the best to all the people who have attended this workshop, and thank you NMPA chairman and his team members for organizing such a wonderful event. Thank you once again. Good luck.
Thank you, sir, for your sharing your vision on expanding maritime industry in Mangalore. Sir, ನಿಮಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಹೃದಯದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. Friends, in the recently concluded financial year 2024-25, our New Mangalore port has achieved remarkable milestone. We have handled a record-breaking cargo throughput of 46.01 million metric ton, surpassing last year record of 45.71 million metric ton. Additionally, we have recorded the highest net surplus of rupees 600 crores before tax, with an impressive operating ratio of 34.87, comparable to that of private ports. These outstanding achievements are a testament to the visionary leadership and guidance of our esteemed chairman, Dr. Venkatramana Akkaraju. His forward-thinking initiative, policy decision, and efforts to foster a business-friendly environment has undoubtedly contributed to our success. Now it is my honor to invite our respected chairman, Dr. Venkatramana Akkaraju sir, to deliver his presidential address as we celebrate this achievement and look forward to a bigger future.
Chief guest of the occasion and Lokpriya Neta, our beloved Member of Parliament, Captain Brijesh Chota Saheb, Additional DG Abul Kalam Azad ji, Deputy Chairperson of New Mangalore Port, Shanti, Padmanabhachar, Pandaji, Joshiji, my friend Nagaraj Shetty, my other friend he is here. I don't need to tell his name, everyone knows him. He is a very popular person. And members from district administration, representatives from Coastal Police, CISF, and friends from e-media, a very good morning and a warm welcome to this workshop. As rightly said by Honorable Member of Parliament, adversaries and opportunities, they go very parallel. When you address an adversary, you are inviting an opportunity. When you are eliminating a problem, you are increasing the efficiency. जहाँ डाल डाल पे सोने की चिड़िया करती है बसेरा, ये भारत है मेरा, ये भारत है हमारा. ये पृथ्वीराज का गाना है, सबको मालूम होगा, very popular song. Mother India is known for its maritime trade, not from today, from centuries behind. India was a global leader and is going to be a global leader in maritime trade, Neel Ardha Vyavastha. We used to be the golden parrot, golden sparrow for the Asia Pacific region. We used to trade and we are trading with all the countries in the globe. Earlier spices, clothes, diamonds were our main export. Now we are exporting marine products, fish products, machinery, technology, and all these things. Naturally, when we want to become the third superpower in terms of economic power on the globe by 2047, we have to look at what are our threats and adversaries regarding the Neel Ardha Vyavastha. I'll come to that. Because our Honorable MP is present here, it's my duty to present before him the progress of the New Mangalore port, because I always tell in our meetings also, the Honorable Member of Parliament, what I have noticed, he is a person who wants to really develop the region, who wants to create jobs for the people, youngsters, and who means business. That's what I could understand. It's not I am praising him in his presence, but I used to say like this to my officers also. So we are always with you, sir. And your thought process is very clear, and we are very happy for that. Now, as far as the port is concerned, in the past 5 years back, the port profit after tax was around 101 crores. Today, 2024-25, I am proud to say we are at almost 455 crores profit after tax, almost 4 to 5 times behind the growth. The operating income, operating ratio, waiting time, idle time, all these things have improved a lot. All the key performance indicators have improved a lot. This is one part of the story. Last year we had the challenge of dredging, by which we lost around 66 days because DCI is supposed to do, being a public sector. Though they were delaying, we could not do much. I lost around 5 million metric tons for that. And as our Honorable MP has rightly said, for the region of Mangalore, Dakshin Kannada, the connectivity is a big problem. Once the connectivity improves across the Shiradi Ghats, in no time Mangalore port will reach 60 million metric tons, in no time. Because I am proud to say we are very, very efficient and we work like a private sector company. You must have seen. Decisions doesn't take time. There is no red tapeism. There are no long and wide procedures. Procedures are there. We modify, benchmark the procedures. And we work very, very transparently. That's our strength. Regarding connectivity, sir, I had a discussion in person with Gadkari sir many times, 2-3 times. The main challenge is the forest clearance, you know. Forest clearance across the ghats is the main problem. And state is supposed to give the clearance and they are not giving. Gadkari sir told me at that time, the moment they give the forest clearance, in no time I am ready to give the tunnel through the Shiradi Ghats also. So that will happen. and with your dynamic leadership and initiative, definitely we'll be achieving it. I'm very sure that during your first term we'll be achieving this. I'm very sure. So coming back to other issue, this year, as you all know, and as our honorable MP has told you, informed you, we are completing 50 years of our dedicated service to the nation. This is our goal. 2025 is our golden jubilee year. We had taken up a lot of activities, including the CSR activities, and our main focus is on schools. Schools, because today's youngsters, if you are able to mold them properly, the children in the formative ages, between 7 to 15, if you are able to mold them properly, you need not worry about the India in future. They will take care. What we need is the right citizens for tomorrow. That's why our concentration is on schools, and I have told my CSR people also, instead of spending 20 crores, 30 crores, 40 crores on one project, let us spend 30, 40, 50 lakhs for different schools in Dakshin Kannada, so that everywhere, whatever they need, the gaps can be filled, and we can have better schools and better education for tomorrow. This is only a side story. Coming back to the main issue, maritime adversaries. As you know, no Ativishti, no Anavishti, because it is the Parasrama Srushti, the general word. But during the period from April right up to September, the sea of Karavali coast is very ferocious. The wave heights during the rough weather goes as high as 5 to 7 meters. Though it appears very funny, it happens. And as you know, many of the vessels that are plying in the international waters along the west coast, particularly the vessels which are going from China and other countries to Gulf, South Africa, and sometimes European countries, these vessels, they get into distress. Not because the weather is very bad, because the vessels are not up to the mark. Imagine a truck is there, lorry is there. If the lorry is not serviced properly, if it is not in good condition, if the RTO certifies that it is in good condition, what will happen? You see Bombay roads, it will go and sit during the monsoon. It will not go front, it will not go back, it creates nuisance to the society. That is what these vessels are also doing. I take the liberty to call them as the rogue vessels. Certain set of vessels which we call it as rogue vessels. These vessels are not up to the mark. They don't undergo the required maintenance, but they manage to get the certification, classification society. They manage to get the fitness, and they many times don't have the P&I insurance. The vessel owners know very well that by abandoning the vessel, by allowing the vessel to get drawn, he gets the full insurance, if at all he has insured. And transportation cost is a big challenge. So people doesn't want to spend money due to various disruptions. They want to spend as much as low as possible, particularly from third world countries. They want to spend as much less as possible. They bring the vessel because of certain loopholes in our law, Indian law. They try to bring these things and dump into Indian coast waters. This is happening. So we should be very careful, because these vessels create a lot of nuisance, not only to the government, but also to the environment, economy, and total ecosystem. Pollution is a big issue. I can give you the example of vessel Frankfurt, which got into fire near to Goa last year. 10 containers were there. All the 10 containers were of sodium cyanide. Sodium cyanide, you know how poisonous it is. And I don't want to blame any agency or name any agency, but they tried to bring it to Mangalore port. They brought as close to 50 nautical miles to Mangalore port. I was very firm I was very adamant. I said, we will not allow. The matter went to ministry. They complained to the minister also. Then I explained to the minister, this is the thing. Then minister said, you have done a very good job. Otherwise, it would have been a Bhopal tragedy in Mangalore. That's about Frankfurt, vessel Frankfurt. Before that, Princess Minal, last year. Princess Minal, these vessels are not meant for Mangalore port. The funny thing is, these vessels are not destined for Mangalore port. They are going from A port to B port in the world. Or they are going from China to some other port, Mundra or Gulf port. They are not meant for Mangalore port. They don't have any scheduled call at Mangalore port. In the case of Princess Minal also, it was coming towards Mangalore port before last year. We refused. In fact, we advised the Coast Guard also not to entertain because they have already saved the lives. But still, the vessel was coming nearer. We have put our foot down. They somehow took it and beached it outside the port limits. And there was a threat of pollution. Then we have put our people and removed all the oil. Though it is not once it goes out of the port limits, it's not my purview, but still we did it. Before Princess Mrinal, Nishi Nalini, which created nuisance in Goa. Cochin port refused, Mangalore port refused. Due to some reason, plus minus, Goa port has taken, and there were certain issues over that. What I mean to say is, whether it is district administration, whether it is Coast Guard, Indian Navy, Coastal Police, or the ports, we all should be very careful before allowing any. I am not telling that you should not help a vessel in distress. I am the first person to help the vessel in a distress. But if the vessel is not up to the mark, if the vessel is having the threat of pollution, if the vessel is not having insurance, if the vessel is about to get drowned, because we don't have any ship repair facility, there is no point in bringing to Mangalore port. And there is no point in bringing a dead body to Mangalore coast and making it sit here, knowing that it is, we know that it is a dead body, we are bringing it to our Karavali coast, which is not good, which is not correct. And in fact, when the Princess Minal was birthed outside the port limits, there was an inquiry from the Home Ministry also. They appreciated us for our decision. And whoever was instrumental or responsible for bringing it, allowing it to get birthed, they were questioned. So let us be very judicious, let us be very careful to protect our environment. I am not saying that we should not help the vessels in distress. We should help people, we should save the people if they are in distress. But we should have a concrete plan to save in a proper way. You should take the vessel where there is a ship repair facility. You should take it either to Cochin port or Cochin shipyard, or take it down to Gujarat where you have the ship braking units, you have the ship repair facilities. Or if at all you are bringing to my port or our port, you should be ready with the repair facility. You should check whether the vessel is having sufficient capacity pumps to remove the water that is entering the vessel. Whether the vessel is having poisonous containers, poisonous food, poisonous items, poisonous gas, all these things we have to check. We aren't just allow like that. One more issue is, as far as the vessel certification is concerned, vessel routing is concerned, security is concerned, DG Shipping is the responsible agency. Up to certain territorial waters, Coast Guard, after that Indian Navy. And the limit of port is, when it comes inside the port limits, if at all something happens, we take care of it. So different agencies are there. The present exercise of this workshop is, kiska kya responsibility hai and how we should react to a situation. And again I place it very clear, I make it very clear that if the life is at trouble, if the people are in distress, we are the first people to help them. In fact, in the case of Frankfurt also, we have allowed 2 tugs. We have sent our tug also, Mangalore port tug also we have sent, and we have done certain help to them. But nothing should be at the risk to the lives of the Mangalore people, Karavali coast people and Karavali coast. That's what we are trying to do. And I am very sure that at the end of the exercise of this particular workshop, our people will be able to explain to you किसका क्या responsibility है, क्या किसका क्या जिम्मेदारी है, how to react to a situation and how to save, how to take care of the interest of the ship, life as well as the port and coast, so that sarve jano sukhino bhavanti. Everyone has to be happy at the end of the day. Everyone should flourish, and port and ecosystem, export-import trade should continue with efficiency. That's what we are trying to do, and definitely we'll be doing. And I would like to submit to Honorable MP that New Mangalore Port is having a clear plan, sir. By 2030, we want to become capacity of 100 million metric tons, and by 2047, 150 million metric tons. And as a nation, we want to be in the first 10 as far as the shipbuilding is concerned. And ports as a whole, presently we are around 3 lakh million metric tons, which is just 2% of the rated global capacity. But you see, $5 trillion economy by 2027. If you want to become a 40 to 60 trillion dollar economy by 2047, multiplication factor is 17. So the total capacity of all the ports in India should be minimum at least 10,000 million metric ton capacity. That's the minimum. So I am very sure under the great visionary leader, our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, and our Union Minister Sonawal ji, and our Honorable Member of Parliament who always thinks of the region and development of the region, will be achieving it. And Mangalore Port has a great future, and we'll take care and we'll try to eliminate all the adversaries, all the possible problems during the monsoon. That's why we have done. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir, for sharing valuable insights with past example about today's workshop on maritime adversaries. With this inauguration on maritime workshop on maritime adversaries, next we will move on to education session. I request the dignitaries on the dais, please come down and adopt the seats in the front rows. Before moving on to education session, we would like to present New Mangalore Port's 50th year celebration song. Friends, as we celebrate a milestone moment in our port history, New Mangalore Port, having handled its first ship MV Sastumaru on 10th June 1974, making its 50th golden year of operation, we are delighted to present a special Golden Jubilee song commemorating this remarkable achievement. '50th year Golden Jubilee song. New Mangalore has handled its first ship MV Sastumaru on 10th June 1974.
ಕಡಲಾಯಿ ನಗರಿ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಯ ಸೊಬಗಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರದ ಐಸಿರಿ ಚರಿತೆಯ ಪುಟಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಮಧುರದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂಗಾರದ ಕಲಶವು ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ವಹಿವಾಟು ಕರಾವಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮೂಡಿ ಹೆಮ್ಮರವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದಿದೆ ಹೊಸ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸವನ್ನು ಜನರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ತಂದಿದೆ
ಮನೆಗಳ ಸೊಬಗಲಿ ಹೊಸತೊಂದು ಬೆಳಕು ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ ಮಲ್ಯರ ಕನಸಿನ ಕೂಸು ಸಾಗರದ ಗಡಿದಾಟಿ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯ ತಂದಿದೆ ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಉಸಿರಾಗಿ ಪುಟಿದೆದ್ದು ನಿಂತಿದೆ
ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಹಿರಿಮೆಗೆ ಕಾರಣ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆ
ಇದೀಗ ನವ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಬಂದರು ಪ್ರಾಧಿಕಾರದ ಸುವರ್ಣ ಸಂಭ್ರಮ ಇದೀಗ ನವ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಬಂದರು ಪ್ರಾಧಿಕಾರದ ಸುವರ್ಣ ಸಂಭ್ರಮ ತುಂ 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 ಸದರಿ ತುಂ 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 ಸದರಿ ತುಂ 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 ಸದರಿ ತುಂ 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 ಸದರಿ ತುಂ 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 ಸದರಿ ತುಂ 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 ಸದರಿ ತುಂ ತುಂ ತುಂ
ಅರುವತ್ತರ ದಶಕ ಕರಾವಳಿಗೊಂದು ಹೊಸ ನೋಟದ ಛಾಯೆಯು ಉದ್ಯೋಗದ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯ ಹೊಸತಾದ ವೇದಿಕೆಯು
ಜಗರಾಜೆಯ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದ ಪರಿಚಯದ ರೂವಾರಿಯು ಸಾಧನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭವ್ಯತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗೆಲುವಿನ ಪರಿಚಯವು ಹೊಸ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ಈ ಮುನ್ನುಡಿ ಬೆಳಕುದಂತೆಗ ವ್ಯವಹಾರದ ಕರಿಮೆಗೆ ಸೇತುವೆ ಆಯ್ತೀಗ 50ರ ಈ ಸಂಭ್ರಮ ಸಂತಸ ಬಂದೀಗ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದಾಗುತ್ತಾ ಈ ಖುಷಿಯ ಹಂಚೋಣ
ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಹಿರಿಮೆಗೆ ಕಾರಣ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆ ಅಕ್ಕನವ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಬಂದ ಪ್ರಾಧಿಕಾರಕ ಬಂಧೋತ್ಸವ ಸಂಭ್ರಮ
ಈ ಅಭಿನವ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಪತ್ತಂಗೆ ಸ್ವರ್ಣ ಜಯಂತಿ ಸಂಭ್ರಮವೇ ಇದೀಗ ನವ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಬಂದರು ಪ್ರಾಧಿಕಾರದ ಸುವರ್ಣ ಸಂಭ್ರಮ
ಓಬೇಲೆ 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 ಐಲೇಸ ಓಬೇಲೆ 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 ಐಲೇಸ ಒಂದು ಇದ್ದ ನವ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಬಂದರ್ ಪ್ರಾಧಿಕಾರದ ಬಂಗಾರು ಪರ್ವತ ಕೌಜಿ
ಸುನಲಿ ಜಯಂತಿ ಸುನಲಿ ಜಯಂತಿ ಇದೀಗ ನವ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಬಂದರು ಪ್ರಾಧಿಕಾರದ ಸುವರ್ಣ ಸಂಭ್ರಮ
ಅಕ್ಕನವ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ಬಂದ ಪ್ರಾಧಿಕಾರಕ ಬಂಧೋತ್ಸವ ಸಂಭ್ರಮ
ಜೈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಜೈ ಭಾರತ ಜೈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಜೈ ಭಾರತ
Friends, that was a Golden Jubilee song showcasing port's growth story along with this region's tradition and cultural diversities. Friends, now we will begin education session. Before that, may I request Captain Manoj Joshi, Deputy Conservator, to brief about the importance of today's workshop on maritime adversities.
Once again, thank you very much. I think our chairman has already set the ball rolling. He has already given the outlines. My only request to you is just keep the doors of your brain open. Let it be, open for new thoughts, new imagination, and listen our very, very experienced people carefully. If you have any positive things to share, please do share, and we will carry forward. So nothing more I have to say. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Next coming up is a brief session on different acts and functions of the major ports. To enlighten us on this important topic, may I invite Shri Krishnabapi Raju, Senior Deputy Secretary NMPA sir, to take over.
I'll carry this. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. A very good morning, and I thank my management for giving me an opportunity to share my knowledge, a limited knowledge, with regard to today we are confining to Merchant Shipping Act. Though the Port Administration and the vessels, you might have all known, the maritime law itself is the ocean. There are several acts, several international conventions, and our major ports are administered under the Major Ports Authorities Act 2021, erstwhile Major Port Trust Act 1963. And the other ports in the country, they are governed by the Indian Ports Act 1908. But with regard to the vessels, so we have the Merchant Shipping Act, which deals with, or the objective behind that was, the Merchant Shipping Act deals with the ship registration, the safety of the vessel, the seafarers' welfare, marine pollution control, development of Indian maritime sector, so on and so forth. So when it comes to a ship, importantly there are four elements. One is the vessel, one is the equipment of the vessel, one is the cargo, and the lives in the ship, the crew. As our chairman sir was saying, when it comes to property and person, our priority should be a person, not the property. As Indian Ports Act deals with administration of the ports, that is how a port is handled within its limits. Every port has its limits. So Indian Ports Act deals with how the ports and incidents are to be managed within the port. Beyond the port, we have coastal waters, territorial waters, and international waters. Coastal waters include the tidal rivers and the creeks also, under the definition of the Act. So within the port, everything is set, and how in an international waters, if a vessel is in a danger, is in an emergency. Section 355 of the Merchant Shipping Act deals with that. Every master of a vessel, from whatever source he receives information that a vessel is in distress, he should give priority, attend to that, and try to save the lives, all the four things which I have told. And in his wisdom and judgment, if he thinks that, like bringing a dead body, it is unnecessary to put any amount of effort to attempt for a recovery or saving that vessel, because it's already drowned or the tip of the vessel is visible, and say, for example, if the lives were already saved and the vessel which went for the rescue is not in a position to rescue the cargo and the equipment and the vessel, the master has the discretion and he can accordingly record that in the logbook and come back from the rescue operations. So coming to handling such a situation in the coastal waters, this is dealt by Part 8, Part 8 of Merchant Shipping Act, which deals with wreck and salvage. So normally wreck means it is irreparably damaged. That means repairing it may not be possible anymore. Almost all it is, as earlier our chairman was recording, saying, almost it's a dead thing. So whenever a coastal incident happens or an emergency happens, these are the provisions which are to be known to all.
Friends, our Honorable Chairman leaving in between and due to come. Sir, may I request our Chairman sir to present a memento, sir? Please, sir. Please. I would like to request our Chairman sir to present a memento to our Honorable MP Captain Brajesh Chowta for the kind remembrance of this event. Sir, Nagaraj Shetty sir, please. Thank you, sir, for accepting a felicitation from New Mangalore Port Authority. Thank you to our Honorable MP, Captain Brajesh Chowta, sir. And we expect you to come back, sir, during celebration of Golden Jubilee of New Mangalore Port Authority, sir.
With all your permission, I would like to resume. So, today let us try to acquaint ourselves with the procedures involved in that and what is the role of different agencies, instrumentalities in handling such a distress call. Whenever we don't follow these procedures contemplated under the law, someone may question our actions. And as our chairman sir was referring to, there are many instances where vessels try to reach the ports. Ports are not meant to take these vessels which are in distress. Then what next? What is to be done? So within the port, we are refusing to accept. And the other authorities, because of ignorance of the laws and everything, LAWS laws, not LOSS, so they are taking a risk which is resulting in pollution or other disasters. The government of India notifies a receiver officially in the Gazette for every region. For our region of Mangalore, the Deputy Commissioner Dakshina Kannada is the receiver. So this is done under the MS Act. Beyond the port limits, within the port, our Deputy Conservator is the competent authority to take the call whenever a vessel gives a distress call. And when it comes to the other non-major ports, it may be the harbour master or the port officer who is competent. So these people being day in, day out into the port operations, they will be well aware of all these procedures. The problem comes with other agencies, say for example, the district administration. They might not be aware of all these pros and cons, which vessel to and what is the procedure involved. Certain mistakes may happen. So once a receiver is notified by the central government, the receiver also can appoint his nominee to discharge all or some of his functions. So the district administration should have the information of the person who is well versed with the procedures in addressing these type of situations where a vessel gives a distress call. So whenever a vessel is wrecked, stranded or is in distress at any place or near the coast of the country, the receiver of the wreck within the limits of whose jurisdiction the place is situated shall, upon being made acquainted with the circumstances, forthwith proceed there, and upon his arrival shall take command of all persons present and shall assign such duties and give such directions. So the receiver is conferred with the powers to proceed and command any person to help him in this operation or to help him in this job. And the objective behind this is he will give directions to each person as he thinks fit for the preservation of the vessel and the lives of the persons belong to the vessel, its cargo and equipment. Again, here comes the priorities. The priority will be the lives of the crew. Then comes the cargo. Next comes the vessel. And in this process, he will not interfere into the vessel management, that is between the master and the crew. He will only play his role to save the vessel, the lives on the vessel and the cargo on the vessel. Next, under this, the receiver has also the power, and the public also have the obligation, when there is no proper approach to go to that particular coastal place where the ship is stranded or wrecked or it is present. The receiver and the persons helping shall have the right to go through anybody's property, use the property for plying the vehicles, bringing the cargo, storing the cargo, and no person can object this. All the public are under law expected to cooperate for this. However, in this process, if some damage is done to that property, breaking the walls or felling the trees, etc., they will be compensated by the receiver after selling the wreck. And normally what happens is, whenever a vessel is in such a situation, there will be an element of theft. There will be persons who will be plundering. They are trying to steal some items, damage some items, or destroy some items. So this is a punishable offense where the receiver can exercise his powers to impose penalties or to report to the concerned metropolitan magistrate or the judicial first class magistrate for imprisonment of those people under various sections of law. One more important thing which in the recent past in respect of one vessel in Mangalore port was the High Court of Karnataka quashed the proceedings of the district administration because of non-adherence to the procedure. As and when a wreck is found, a notice has to be issued by the receiver. By conducting an investigation, he should identify the name and description of the vessel, the names of the master and the owners, the names of the owners of the cargo, the ports from and to which the vessel was bound, the occasion of the wrecking, stranding or distress of the vessel, the services rendered, and any other attendant matters or circumstances. After collecting all this data, through investigation, then a public notice will be issued, the format of which is as notified by the Government of India, to keep everyone informed about the incident, the details of the vessel, at which place it had happened, at what time it had happened. This notice is mandatory. In the absence of this notice, the further exercise is likely to be stayed by the honorable courts, and the prolonged period where the vessel is there, the threat is also prolonged. So once we follow the procedure properly, the risk of keeping the vessel idle will reduce, and accordingly the rescue operations can be quickly done. And the receiver also is conferred with a power. In case of beyond port limit, it's the receiver is the district administration deputy commissioner, or the deputy conservator of a major port, or the port officer of a non-major port. He can straight away sell away the wreck without waiting for any further procedure. When the value is, at those times in the act it was mentioned as 500 rupees, but now the government has revised this value. It will be notified from time to time. And when the vessel is containing some perishable cargo, in such case also the receiver should act immediately and get the cargo disposed of or sell it away. And whenever the receiver or the conservator thinks that there is no use in preserving this cargo or the wreck that costs more than the value of the wreck, then also it can be disposed of without waiting for the ownerships or claims, whatever it is. The sale proceeds will be kept with the receiver or the deputy conservator or the port officer, as the case may be. Then comes the claims. This is again a headache to handle. Several people come claiming the cargo. Several people come claiming the ownership of the vessel. All these headaches start once the wreck is sold or it is about to be sold. So the receiver was conferred with the power that whoever claims the ownership of the cargo or the vessel, they should establish their claim to the satisfaction of the receiver. Unless the receiver is satisfied, if he has a small element of doubt also that he is not the owner. Because what happens is, our conservators are mariners, they know what is the record. Like our RC book for a vehicle, we know because we are using the vehicles. But for ship, what is the record to prove the ownership? For cargo, what is the record to prove the ownership? So this might not be within the knowledge or wisdom of the person who is handling either the nominee of the deputy commissioner or the deputy commissioner. In such cases, it can be referred to a person who is competent to certify the ownership of the cargo or at the discretion of the receiver, failing which it can be referred to the civil court. And this claim of ownership of the cargo or the vessel should be made within 1 year only. The limitation prescribed under MS Act is 1 year. Beyond 1 year, the receiver has no obligation to pay anyone any money. The amounts will go to the consolidated fund, the funds of the Government of India. Suppose the receiver or the deputy conservator or the port officer, as the case may be, doesn't come across any claims, then the consular officer to the country to which the vessel belongs shall be deemed to be the agent of the owner of the vessel. Similarly for cargo also, the consular officer of the country to which the owner of the cargo belongs is deemed to be the agent. So the receiver or the deputy conservator should communicate to that particular consular officer that we found a wreck here. As per the record, the vessel belongs to your country, so and so company. So you being the agent, take the notice, and if any claims are there, then the consular officer, by verifying from his country, as an agent of the owner, can make the claims. All this should happen within 1 year. 1 year is the time limit for all this exercise. And finally, if the owner doesn't come forward or the agent, that's the consular officer, doesn't make any claim, the entire amount shall be the property of the Government of India. And in this process, the receiver will have overriding powers over the master and the crew. Normally, to board a vessel, the permission of the master is mandatory. But in such a situation where the receiver took the control, there the receiver can direct any person to go into the vessel and verify, investigate, or do any ancillary activities. And whenever the assistance of search is required, the receiver can approach the metropolitan magistrate, and when he suspects that some wreck is stolen and kept somewhere in any place, he can go to the court of law, to the metropolitan magistrate or the judicial first class magistrate, the designated court for this purpose, and obtain a search warrant. And with this search warrant, he can go into any place and unearth the stolen things, whether it is a part or cargo or the vessel or any valuable. And for all this exercise, whatever the expenditure is incurred, either by the receiver or the nominee of the receiver or any other person involved in this rescue operation, these amounts will be paid. There is a priority of payment. The expenditure incurred for saving the lives will be given the priority from the sale proceeds of the wreck to meet the expenses before the other expenditure. Whenever there are claims, normally, recently, whoever are involved in that Princess Mrinal operation, there are multiple claims on the cargo and on the ownership also. Whenever the claims are multiple and there is a dispute on that, then also the deputy conservator or the receiver can simply refer the dispute to the court. You decide there who is the owner, let the court decide the ownership, and after proving the ownership, then the actual owner will be paid whatever the money is left after meeting all the expenditure. And the government of India, under the rules made under the Merchant Shipping Act, has notified the procedure to be followed. This is very, very important. Once this procedure is scrupulously followed, the operation will be successful without any hurdles. The interference of the courts will be minimized. The incidents of suffering adverse orders will be almost zero. What all the courts look into is whether the procedure contemplated by law is followed or not. Once it is followed, the courts will reject any type of cases or claims placed before it. So, the receiver or the deputy conservator or the port officer, as the case may be, they should be aware and they should be thorough with the procedures in handling these type of situations to avoid further complications. This is a small awareness I thought of bringing to your knowledge and create amongst our fraternity. I thank you for this opportunity once again, sir. Thank you one and all.
Thank you very much, sir, for briefing a very vast topic in a nutshell. Friends, now we will begin the first session of today's workshop by domain expert Captain L.K. Panda, ex-nautical advisor to the Government of India, DG Shipping. Before that, I would like to present a very brief biodata about the speaker. Captain L.K. Panda superannuated in 2016 as a nautical advisor to the Government of India at the Directorate General of Shipping. He has joined the organization in the year 1992. He started his seafaring career in 1975 from T.S. Rajendra and sailed in various capacities in merchant ships, including service as master on various types of ships. After completion of his extra master in 1988, he joined Government of Iran as Maritime Educational Advisor for a brief period. During his service with the Indian Maritime Administration, he has represented India in various maritime forums, national and international, and been a part of many committees, including Committee on
keeping the honor of this maritime trade is on you. That's why. Again, it's my honor to come here and give my experience and give my thought process for the second time. Thank you, sir, for inviting me. I hope I can contribute a small knowledge so that we can handle these situations more effectively, because there is no running away from it. The country has to grow, and it is growing at a phenomenal rate, and maritime trade is the pillar of success, if I may say, and ports are the gateway. We are blessed with a beautiful coast on the east as well as on the west. At the same time, we also have perils, whether man-made or nature's gift or self-created. So therefore, when we talk about maritime adversities, these are many. These can be categorized mainly into security related. We know what is happening underwater with China sniffing here and there, with other countries just close to us monitoring in the name of research, the piracy, the arms smuggling, all those aspects I leave it to our good naval forces. I'll mainly concentrate on white shipping, that is our commercial shipping as such. Among the commercial shipping, the most important adversities that we are going to face, or we have been facing, is the environmental spills. Gentlemen, let me say 40% of the world's oil is moving precariously close to our waters. When I think, or when I dread rather, that if one of the VLCC, while moving through the cluster of fishing vessels, collides with another, what kind of situation we'll land up in? Because the oil spill will spread like anything, and I regret to say we are yet to have enough capacity to tackle such issues the way the size of ships are increasing by the day. I recall during the piracy days when I was on the chair, the HRA was very close to our coast, and all VLCCs loaded with 300,000 tons plus used to come from Hormuz straight to the Mangalore coast and then skirt. Thank God we have passed through this period, but that doesn't mean that we can be in our deep slumber and thinking that such situation will never occur. Now the next one is the marine casualties. These casualties can be because of accidents, because of grounding, because of the fire, because of the increased traffic density. Let me tell you, the traffic density in or around our coast is increasing by the day. Well over 35% of the trade is passing close to our coast. China, being the, or what I say, factory of the world, and Suez Canal, of course, it is passing through a tough period because of the Houthi. But with the new corridors coming in, that is through Chabar and the other one coming through the Gulf, it's just a matter of time when number of ships will keep on increasing. And unfortunately, with a paper-thin margin, everyone is trying to cut the cost. Be it the shipper, be it the ship owner, be it the registering authority, be it the insurers. When I say shipper, because the shipper has no business to declare the bleaching powder as cleaning compound, thereby not have that cargo under the IMDG code and pay extra fare or extra freight. The classic example of the ships catching fire off Oman, of one in Sri Lanka, was mainly because of this bleaching powder going in containers. I have observed during my career so many misdeclarations happening to save the freight rate, because when you are working on a paper-thin margin, everyone is trying to cut cost. Most of the fire happening on container ships are because of misdeclaration of cargo. It may happen anywhere. It may happen near the coast. It may happen near the port. It may happen in the anchorage. It may happen in the mid-sea. Then the natural disaster, the monsoonic weather, whether we can say that we are blessed with, yes, the hinterland farmers will definitely say that we are blessed with 2 good monsoons. But all the chairmen and the port authorities will be really sweating during the monsoonic period. Be it on the west coast or be it on the east coast. East coast, there are more because invariably you have a TRS, tropical revolving storm, on the way in the Bay of Bengal. When I was discussing with the chairman of Paradip Port Trust just a few days back, he said, I don't think any other port chairman will be scared during the month from July to September. I said, yes, you are absolutely correct. Nevertheless, what we have observed is that this phenomena is changing, as rightly pointed by the Honorable Chairman. The wave heights can be 5 to 7 meters and can be abnormal as well, because some seismic movement somewhere. We have seen that what happened in Gulf of Kutch. Being an advisor to the GMB right now, we cannot forget those incidences what happened in Gulf of Kutch when the wave went up to 8 meters. Ships were driven on land for about 2.5 kilometers. It can happen. Just because it is not happening on this coast, that doesn't mean that it will not happen. Just a few days back, we saw the volcanic eruptions in Indonesia, near Italy, leading to tsunami, and the Japanese are always remaining on the tenterhook that anything can happen. So we have been lucky, but that doesn't mean that we'll be lucky forever. Now, therefore, it is essential that we have the awareness, the maritime domain awareness. Gentlemen, instead of getting very specific to the subject, I thought I bring in a holistic view and then thereafter get into the issues that needs our attention, and in between I'm open for any query from your end. So that's how we'll try to understand the subject in a holistic manner and be prepared for all eventualities. That's what my objective is. In case you have anything, please make me aware, and I'll be too happy to answer such inquiries. Maritime domain awareness is primarily because of the security that we must be aware. I leave this aspect to my good colleagues, that's the naval forces. Then, to the point, is this one? Okay, doesn't matter. Then safety. That means we are talking about safety of the ship and safety of the port. When we talk about safety of ship, and rightly pointed out by the Honorable Chairman, today the ships have certificate, statutory certificate, they are all valid. But are they safe? Because today we have well over 50 recognized organizations which are issuing certificate. Today, the whole scenario has changed. When the ships used to be owned by the owner and managed by the owner, from the ownership management, it has got to third-party management. More than 90% of the ships are registered with the flag of convenience, where there is hardly any accountability. Of course, they don't call it flag of convenience, they call it open registry, so be it. Well over 110 insurance companies are there to provide you third-party insurance, that is your P&I club. Therefore, Government of India in its wisdom has published a port entry rules in 2012, and in addition to the IG clubs, I believe when I left it was about 12, I think it is about 15 odd insurance clubs have been approved. Therefore, it is essential that my good friends, the shippers, the importers, they concentrate on those ships which have been classed and approved P&I clubs. And similarly, the ports, of course, it is a port entry rule. Ports should allow only those vessels which meet the requirement of the PR, the port entry rules. That is the safety part. And then economy. Yes, economy and marine environment. Why I am saying that economy is directly related to marine environment. Imagine a tanker coming to your port, which has been inspected by one of those ROs, one of the recognized organization, and which has given the certificate. And while loading, it spills, or while at anchor, it can spill. Who bears the brunt? One VLCC or one super tanker getting grounded within the port limits because of the failure of so many, maybe failure of main engine, maybe failure of the steering, despite the best effort of the pilot or the port authorities, it can lead to a catastrophic situation. Yes, the ship will compensate the port under the Civil Liability Convention, but what happens for those 4, 5, 6 days when the port is almost stuck because the ship is grounded? What happened to being a part of the committee of Ever Given, the vessel which ran aground in Suez Canal? The direct damages were a few million, but the indirect damages were in billions. Because 3 days of the vessel getting stuck in the canal led to almost 4% of the world's trade getting affected. So similarly, a tanker getting grounded within the port limit may have spilled about 50, 60 or 70, 80 tons of oil, but in turn has stopped so many ship movements. So therefore, this economy and marine environment are very closely related. It is for the ports to see. And when we talk about this awareness, it is essential that the adversities impacting above can be met with situational awareness. What is your situation? What is your port or your area that you are in, or the cargo that you are shipping out or shipping in? What type of vessel it is coming in? Yes, you have insured as shipper, you have insured your cargo, but what happens if the ship is not very safe and the ship owner declares a general average or declares a particular average, which is not covered? For no fault of yours, you pay the price. Therefore, when we talk about maritime adversities, it is not limited to the policymakers making policies, that is DG Shipping, Ministry of Shipping, or any other. The port which is providing the services by way of bringing in the ship, discharging or loading, but also the actual importers and exporters. So everyone has to be involved into all kind of direct situations and indirect situations, or direct losses or indirect losses as we call it. The second is threat awareness. When a shipper is shipping his cargo or shipping his container on a ship, what is the threat to that vessel? That means, what is the quality of that vessel? What is the safety? Because nowadays, everyone is looking after where they can get the least freight. But is the least freight the best freight? Is it the safest? Similarly, every port is trying to increase its turnaround, a betterment of turnaround time. But the ships that they are getting in, are they safe for the facilities that they have? Or do they have that much of facility to tackle any kind of situation that the ship may create? When we, for example, there was a Navigation Safety Ports Committee, Dahej was bringing in gas carriers. They wanted to increase the size to Q-flex size. But when you are taking that kind of vessel, do you have that much of turning basin? So every constituent in the maritime trade has to see what is beneficial to him, what is the situation, and the action that he is taking in, is it meeting the objective of safety? Because the more safe you are, the more financial gain you can have. So safety is directly related to your financial gain or financial loss as well. Now, if you have assessed the risk that you are exposing yourself, do you have the response mechanism? Means, if a port is having a second tanker berth, or if a multimodal transport operator increases his size, increases his export capacity, does he have the response mechanism in case of any loss? So if the port has increased one more berth, do they have the contingency measures to tackle the operational spill or accidental spill? Anything can happen. The Indian Coast Guard has prepared a NOS DCP, National Oil Spill Disaster Contingency Planning. I presume the last meeting was in 2023 at Jamnagar, where they have made tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 type of response, and The port is supposed to handle tier 1, then when it goes, tier 1 is approximately 800 tons as I recall. But I am afraid we do not have that much of preparedness. The OCIMF, the prime body for tanker movements or oil movement, has enforced different requirements under ISGOT for the ship to be certified, and even have given direction to the tanker terminals. But is our tanker terminal audited for the safety? Yes, the tanker, every port is audited, but audited for what? Audited for financial ones. And as I have said, safety is directly related to finance. This training seminar, many as they say, as they perceive, I'll not say, they don't say that, but they perceive is a waste. But certainly not. I'm thankful to the Honorable Chairman who has taken this initiative of conducting such for the awareness to one and all, to the port people, to the charterers, to the shippers, so that you all are aware of these adversities and what steps you can take after being aware of your domain. Moving on to the next one. Okay, sorry. Now, when we talk about, we'll confine ourselves with the recent incidents which were mainly on maritime casualties, which can happen anywhere. And if it happens at a certain place, as the previous speaker said, that if it happens in the coastal waters, who is responsible and what the law says and what should be done. So therefore I have just divided into this different area wise the casualties outside the EEZ. EEZ, as you may know, it is 200 nautical miles from your baseline. Baseline is declared by the Ministry of Environment under the MZ Act, Maritime Zones Act. The baseline is roughly, you can take a thumb rule that it's about 1 mile from the coast, lowest low water line, and from there about 200 miles. So it is beyond 200 miles. That means we are talking about blue waters. So if it is happening in the EEZ, which authority and what regulation and how? If it is happening beyond 200 miles, then the New Mangalore port or the major port of Cochin or a non-major port of Mangalore can think that, oh, it's happening 200 miles. So it's not my problem as such. But it takes hardly any time for the oil spill to come. If you gentlemen recall, the MOL ship which sank off Yemen, we found the containers on our west coast. It had traversed over 1,000 miles. We are aware of that pirate ship, or we are aware of that phantom ship, if I may call it, Pavit, which ran aground off Bombay. Nobody knew who was the owner. There was no one there. So if an incident is happening well beyond your jurisdiction, it is not necessary that it's not going to impact you. It's going to impact the port, the coast, the major or minor, because sea doesn't know this classification. And maritime adversities happening at sea, it doesn't know the coastline or the jurisdiction in that coastline. It can happen. Therefore, it is important that you be in touch with the Maritime Domain Center that is at DG Shipping, and one opened up at Gurgaon, which is on a 24/7, which is a very interactive platform and gives the status of any danger that is happening on the west coast and on the east coast. Yes, there is just for the theoretical knowledge, primarily it is the responsibility of the Navy, the Coast Guard, and there is an international convention called Intervention Convention, where the coastal state can go beyond its coastal waters in case any incident that has happened beyond its coastal waters or beyond its jurisdiction as such, but it may impact today or tomorrow because of the natural phenomena, because of the weather, because of the current. It can intervene to take necessary steps to mitigate such situation. Now the second one, inside the EEZ, but beyond territorial waters. So that is what we are talking about, between 12 and 200 miles. Any incident taking place, any incident, that means marine casualty, be it sinking, be it fire, be it accident, who is responsible? Obviously, between 12 and 200 there are numerous regulations, and there are regulations and guidance under the Indian Coast Guard Act to render necessary services. That doesn't mean that they will not take assistance of the nearby port. Yes, DG Shipping will provide necessary technical assistance, because DG Shipping cannot provide any material assistance. They don't have a boat also to provide assistance. Other than the expertise, liaison and technical advices which the port or the state or any other body can take, they are required to render, or neither the Merchant Shipping Act nor any other act gives a direct authority for anyone to intervene in such a situation. Because between 12 and 200, what it says that under the UNCLOS section 91, it says 94, the coastal state has got a responsibility between 12 to 24 is to harness the living and non-living resources. That's about all. But yes, if your living resources are getting affected, you have every reason. That's how the state can act between 12 to 200 miles. Now, the most important one is the within coastal water, and that is where maximum casualties are taking place. One is going strictly by rules. I recall a situation when there were well over 50 odd vessels which were there in the Bay of Bengal. And every now and then the defense authorities, Coast Guard, said, DG Shipping, please do it. Because there are 50 odd vessels there, which have got nothing to do. And the situation will not be very different. And that is what happened on one vessel which was there off Cochin, and it came to Mangalore, came to Goa, and it was just going up and down. Because under Article 17 of the UNCLOS, that is right of innocent passage, no vessel, no foreign flag vessel can enter your territorial waters and stay put there unless it has a business to transact with. And every coastal state has to give an authority or give a passage to a vessel, but that it should be a passage. That means she should expeditiously move out of my territorial waters. So if there are 10, 12 vessels which are hanging around for nothing, aren't they violating your sovereignty, international law? But yes, pardon me for saying this, When we exercise that and advise to Coast Guard that throw them out, what we observed, that such ships were time chartered by Indian entities, and they were told that they are negotiating to ship cargo from port A to port B, so don't go further away. Remain anchored within the coastal waters. Was it justified? Was it justified on the part of the shippers, on the part of the charterers, on the part of even the Coast Guard, if I may say? So therefore it has to be a collective responsibility of all to avoid, because invariably why a ship is waiting for cargo for months together, definitely if that ship is meeting the requirements, she will get employment. She will get employment. If a ship has been waiting to get cargo for over a month, that means there is some deficiency. If the ship is deficient, it has no business to stay in my waters, safety wise or even by the provision of the law. Okay, so therefore, if a shipper, a time charterer in India, is holding such ships, don't you think he is working against the interests of the country? I leave it to your prudence. These are certain fallouts of the adversities that you have. Environmental pollution. For environmental pollution, you have the NOS DCP of the Indian Coast Guard, is that every entity's duties are narrated based on the tier principle. So the port is supposed to provide. I was taken aback. Of course, this is under revision, but I'm posing a question that yes, under tier 1 you are supposed to take 800 tons. The port is supposed to be liable. But what happens if that oil moves out of the port? What happens if that casualty takes place outside the port limit? Outside the port limit, when the vessel is at anchor or gets grounded, and then the spill hits the coast. Who takes responsibilities? What kind of preparation the coastal state has? What kind of preparation the port has? What kind of preparation the importer has? Like you may know that United States brought in the Oil Pollution Act of 1990, where every importer is required to have contingency measures and a liaison with an agency which should be capable of handling that oil spill. It is not the responsibility of the port, it's not the responsibility of the coast, but it is every insurer. Unless otherwise every importer has got adequate mechanism, she cannot. In India we were thinking of doing the same, but we didn't have that much of resources, despite the fact that we are the second biggest oil importer. And despite the fact that we are the most vulnerable state so far as oil pollution is concerned. It's a pathetic thing. While working with GMB for the last few months, there are live corals in Gulf of Kutch, which has been declared as totally inland waters. That means coming under the Gujarat Maritime Board jurisdiction or Gujarat State's jurisdiction. There are live corals. At the same time, there are 7 SPMs where the VLCCs are coming. That way, relatively, The West Coast is lucky, sir. You are relatively luckier. But that doesn't mean that we leave it like that. Oh, he is not prepared, so why should I be that prepared? No. Anything can happen anytime. And since the port is on way to increase its footprint in every aspect, the port will. But isn't it the duty of the importers? Of course, in India at present, the importers are mostly the PSUs. So it is the responsibility of the PSUs as far as the energy resources are concerned. But what about the others? What about the other aspect? Because the spill can happen from a container which is carrying dangerous cargo. So what is the responsibility of the importer? The importer has to contribute in some form or the other. And the best contribution is avoid such situation or such containers, such container lines where the cargo is at risk. We have agreed to the container conventions, but regrettably, due to inadequate resources, none of the containers in India are inspected for their compliance with the container convention. But it is very essential on the part of the shipper that they must see whether such containers are meeting the requirement of the CCS, the Container Safety Convention. Because container footprint in India just is well below the world standard. It's just a matter of time when the cargo will be moving on containers more and more. That means leaving more responsibility on the shippers and receivers. Moving on to the next one, the wreck and salvage, my good friend already explained, but let me allay fears that he has raised, that the Merchant Shipping Act is a little outdated act, which we all tried to bring in from 2000, bring in a new act in 2015. When I was in chair, we moved a proposal, but the government procedure has taken its own time. But I presume that the new Merchant Shipping Act has been has moved in a bill stage. So the new Merchant Shipping Act should come out, though it has taken almost 10 years. But we are hopeful that it will come out, which will take care of those small oddities in the wreck and salvage. Because it's a travesty of justice that the more old Merchant Shipping Act said that wreck is a wreck which is abandoned with no hope of recovery. That means till the owner, even if his ship has sunk or grounded, unless otherwise he declares that I have abandoned that property cannot be taken over by the port authority or by the coastal authority. Theoretically speaking, it is not yet abandoned. Such anomalies are there. That's how in the new act, the Nairobi Convention has been brought in, where in the Nairobi Convention, it very clearly says that if the coastal state gives the notice to the offender, waits for a period, if it doesn't, then the coastal authority can remove it in its wisdom if they feel that removal is essential. We did the same thing. Quite a few ships were grounded off Bombay. Captain Azad will be knowing it, the Prativa ships. So we gave notice, the Prativa shipping did not remove. Then we adopted another method. As you may be knowing, there is something called National Maritime Disaster Act, NMD, whereby the coastal state's district magistrate has the authority to handle such disaster. It was declared those ships which were anchored off Bandra beyond the BPT limits, anchored near, not anchored off Ratnagiri, they were grounded, they were auctioned as they were. And we managed to remove 4 ships as they were. They were all taken to probably that may help the other ports to follow the same procedure. And secondly, I have the pleasure to inform you that very recently Gujarat Maritime Board, with input of mine, has issued a circular whereby they have enforced the ship to remove their own dropping. When I say dropping, by mistake or intentionally, in Gulf of Kutch, because since it's very close to amphidromic point, that means the points where the tides is maximum, it's about 5 to 6 meters of water going up and down in 6 hours time, and it's nearly impossible to anchor. There are well over 200 anchors with 12 to 13 meters, 12 to 13 shackles of chain lying on the bottom. Ships lose anchor, but then who removes them? Because ultimately it affects the port. Because the port may have developmental work, port may have dredging work because they want to increase their anchorage, they want to increase the draft. But who removes those anchor chains? Or who removes those parts, put it like this, dumped by the ship? Directly or indirectly, doesn't matter. So therefore, with the new provision under Nairobi Convention, we took cognizance of that, and Gujarat Maritime Board has issued a circular whereby they have forced all ships to have necessary mechanism to remove or have a deposit, maybe that is of your interest. We have forwarded that to the IWAI because it is coming under the inland vessel rule. Doesn't matter, it is within the port limits, so the same can be emulated by anyone. So therefore, any ship agent who is handling the ship for inward-outward clearance, it is his responsibility to ensure that such deposit is kept, and the deposit is pretty heavy. Therefore, it is the responsibility of every ship agent to ensure that the ship he is taking as under his agency is careful that the ship is meeting the requirement and the ship is a safe ship. When I say safe ships, not one of those ships which has a dubious record of the past. For information, every ship's history can be checked through the GISIS by putting its IMO number. So the history of any ship is no more a hidden thing. It's all open. It is the prudence of the end user, be it the port, be it the shipper, be it the receiver, how much he utilizes this knowledge. Okay. Now, coming to port facility security, we are aware that all port in India, the ISPS code is applicable, and initially it was, I recall the major ports came in because they were under the Ministry of Shipping, so all ports had to come. Somehow or the other, during my tenureship, I managed to get the private ports also by threatening that the private ports which are not complying with the ISPS code, and additional cess will be on them. However, it has made good strides. And as I understand now, the government of India is intending that all ports, irrespective of whether they are being used for the EXIM trade or not, export-import trade, every port should come under this security code. It's good the way the things are happening now. We are at a very vulnerable stage either side. So any shipper, any person or the authorities from the coastal state should make all efforts that their port is in compliance with the ISPS code to the extent possible, and the shipper only ships the cargo through the ports which are meeting this ISPS code. Now coming to the next one, ships waiting in coastal waters. I just discussed that what is the requirement under the section 17 of the RIP, that is right of innocent passage. For far too long, Indian coasts have been utilized by these foreign flag vessels as a waiting ground. This cannot happen. Neither the law allows nor our security at present. Our vulnerability should prompt this. So if there are any Indian charters, time chartered, voyage charters or space charters, they should take cognizance of this, that they cannot make their ship waiting in our coastal waters. Yes, beyond 12 mile, legally speaking, you can. Cargo disputes. This is one of the adversities. The IMDG cargo, because of the misdeclaration of the cargo. As per the UNCTAD's report, it is observed that well over 46% of the cargo damages, as per the IG, insurance groups reports, the third party damage compensators, that is the PNI clubs, 46% of the cargo liability was because of misdeclaration. You can't ship calcium hypochlorite, that is your bleaching powder, term it as water cleaning compound. It is a chemical. So if it is a chemical, it must be declared under the IMDG cargo. And if it is declared as a IMDG cargo, it must go on a ship which is certified to carry such cargo. What happens if the port says no? If the port takes such cargo after knowing that this is a chemical, it is the port's risk. And if similarly, if the shipper is shipping such cargo or importing such cargo, it is at their peril. Whether we call it adversity, or we call it human error, or we call it anything else, I leave it between the column. I leave it to your prudence. Yes. These sort of situations will increase. The adversities will increase. Why they will increase? Because there will be substantial increase in our blue economy. And the energy movement, at present it's just about 20.9 barrels a day, which is moving close to our coast. It is going to increase to 30 million barrels a day. So you can imagine the kind of exposure that we are getting into. And what is our preparedness? We must prepare ourselves, because anything can happen. As they say, why we take life insurance policies? Not that we'll die and we'll recover that. Accidental policies are taken not because of accidents, but there may be one accident and that may be you. So if that accident takes place to a port once, that will test its preparedness. So therefore it is essential that the port, the state, the major port, the non-major port, they take adequate measures, either creating the infrastructure yourself, which is very expensive, but or otherwise give it to the specialized agencies, like what ONGC has done for the oil spill, or the SR has done for their oil spill, is that they have given it to SMIT, which has created necessary infrastructure, and they have those oil spill equipments in containers ready to be shipped at few hours notice. 94,000 ships. The second aspect I touched upon, 94,000 ships are moving close to our coast, of which 40% move within our coastal waters. I haven't given any figures so far as fishing vessels are concerned. Fishing vessel, as you may know, that we are virtually fishing the ocean dry. So the fishermen are going further and further and further out. Yeah, they have to make a living. They have to make a living. If you go through, if you see the Kerala coast, at any given time there will be well over 2 lakh fishing vessels between 12 to 50 mile range, the area where the ships move. So anything can happen anytime, and it is increasing by the day. Okay? Exim trade is definitely going to grow at 6.6%. NMPA is growing. I don't know what percentage. Last year I think it was about 10.4% or something, where you have crossed 46 billion tons and intending to go 50. Similarly, each port has got ambitious plans on a short term, medium term and long term. So every port is going to grow, of which more than 80%, that 6% is overall, excluding the service sector. And that cargo, that 6% growth of the national GDP, 80% of that is going to move by sea. And today, with the government's impetus, with the Honorable Prime Minister's drive to create Atmanirbhar Bharat and his special, thank God, great initiative of building your own maritime structure, we will have very soon our own ships, because today we carry only about 7% of our exim cargo on our bottom. So that percentage is going to go up. Now when I am saying that, when that percentage is going to go up, look at the ship repair facilities that are going to come. Look at the other vessels which are going to come. As I understand, United States has already accepted few ports in India as their repair facility. So what I am talking about is that our own shipping strength is going to grow directly, and along with the indirect benefits or indirect industries related to shipping coming up on our coast. And the most cargo on foreign flag ships are growing, and with the, as I said, just, oh, we increase, okay. As I said, that just for your information, the climate or the environmental impact is a lot on ships. 70% of the ships will not be meeting the international standards, which has already come. So those 70% ships will be moving away from Western Europe and United States, and where they will come for business? Definitely to Asia. So we are not going to get good ships. The quality of ships is going to deteriorate further. So the adversities that I have said, grounding, sinking, wire, etc., is going to increase. So the time has come that we prepare ourselves. These are certain important elements. The number of casualties in 2023 around the Indian coast was 3,955. This is the data from the Naval Center. Number of ports are going to increase. The classic example being the Vizhinjam, and another one coming up of the Maharashtra coast. So soon we will have mega ships coming, 20,000 TEUs, more for more 50 feeters draft will be coming. Okay, so what is the way ahead? I have been painting a very bleak picture. But the intention is not to paint a bleak picture and tell the adversities in its adverse way, but to give you a picture of how the things are and what we are supposed to do. Maritime activities with the trade will increase, and with the adversities as rightly said by the Honorable MP and by the respected Chairman, that every adversity presents an opportunity to improve. So therefore the time has come for all of us to improve, and that improvement can come through cooperation between the industry. When I am saying industry, that means export-import industry, by the coastal state, by the non-major ports, by the major ports, by the central government and the state government. For that purpose, you certainly have to have better policies, better SOPs for every situation. No SOP can fit in at two places. Everyone has to have his own. Therefore, I am not advocating as a template for any SOP. I leave it to the prudence of all, and hope we avoid the adversities in a better manner. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your in-depth knowledge and enlightening us on the subject. Your insightful presentation has provided a comprehensive understanding of the complexities and challenges in the maritime industry. We are grateful for your expertise and the time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we have the second session. With the Bachelor of Engineering degree in Electronics and Communication, after a brief stint in engineering firms, joined the Shipping Corporation of India Limited SCI, Mumbai. He served in various ranks up to the rank of captain in SCI for a period of 15 years and sailed on several types of ships including oil tankers, bulk carriers, general cargo ship, etc. Subsequently joined the Indian Maritime Administration in 2008 as Nautical Surveyor cum Deputy Director General of Shipping. He served in the Directorate General of Shipping for 7 years and later in Mercantile Marine Department Mumbai, Chennai and Kochi for a period of 7 years as a Deputy Nautical Advisor. He did the Master of Science in Maritime Affairs from the prestigious World Maritime University, Sweden. Presently, he is serving as Principal Officer of Mercantile Marine Department, Mumbai, and holding additional charge of Nautical Advisor to the Government of India, DG Shipping. During his stint in MMD, DGS played a pivotal role in bringing e-governance solution for certification of seafarers. Also, he has played crucial role in several initiatives of reforms in the functioning of Directorate General of Shipping. He participated in several meetings of International and Maritime Organization as part of Indian delegation. Friends, could we have a round of applause to our speaker, Captain S.I. Abul Kalam Azad. Over to you, sir.
One more thing I would like to inform the august gathering here, which is not read by the while giving his biodata. Captain Azad and myself has been a batchmate in 2M35 back in 1996. Not only batchmates, we were roommates in our hostel as well. So a special welcome to you, Captain Azad.
Yeah, good afternoon, namaskar, swagatam. Yeah, thank you very much, Captain Joshi, for that warm introduction. Respected Chairman Sir, Deputy Chairman Madam, and Captain Panda Sir, and ex-minister, our officers from the Mercantile Marine Department, members from the trade bodies, district administration, and overall shipping industry, the exporters, importers, law enforcement agencies, Coast Guard, Navy. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Captain Joshi specifically and the New Mangalore Port Authority for inviting me to this, one of the unique seminars as stated earlier by the speakers. As per my knowledge, there is no such seminar is being organized by any port authority anywhere in India. So that's a very important initiative. Just to brief you, recently we had a seminar, national seminar on a similar topic, that is the salvage and emergency response in the Indian coast in Mumbai, where we have invited all the ports to participate. So I think based on that seminar, and this seminar becomes much more important, where in our recent seminar we have presented the data and facts which clearly indicated the vulnerability of the New Mangalore port and this region, specifically with respect to the maritime incidents. As our Honorable Member of Parliament said, every adversity brings opportunity. There are opportunities. At the same time, we must ensure that our response, our preparedness is adequate so that we can deal with any emergencies in a prompt and efficient manner. As we all know, the maritime activity, we say the adversity, the maritime activity, it is always called as adventure. It's a maritime adventure. Even if you carry a cargo from maybe a coastal movement, Cochin to Mangalore, or maybe from Mangalore to United States, whether it's a short voyage or a long voyage, it is an adventure. It is called maritime adventure because you will not be able to foresee what kind of emergencies and what kind of scenarios you will face during the voyage. Though we have advanced weather forecast, everything is available in present scenario, but things change very dynamically in the maritime domain. So each and every activity of maritime field, especially the shipping movement, is called as a maritime adventure. Not only on ship, I think a lot of port personnel are here. The first interaction between a ship coming to a port and the port authority happened through a pilot. I think we are all familiar with that. The boarding of a ship by a pilot itself is a big adventure. So many incidents have happened, accidents have happened while boarding. So the same way, even the cargo, carriage of cargo, loading, discharging. I have been coming to New Mangalore port 20-25 years ago on ships. We used to load granites here, around 32 ton granite. The loading of each granite block is such a big adventure. Anytime anything can happen. Wire can part or granite will fall down. Means like it is, you can say the best of seamanship was being used to load a granite so that you can load a maximum number of cargo. So that means the maritime activity is always adventurous and it is a high risk industry, safety critical industry. Any small mistake can lead to a disastrous consequence. So we have to be alert at all times. So that is the, at least at all the stakeholders, those who are either from the shipping industry or other industry must understand the maritime industry is a high risk industry and we have to work together, as I think Captain Panda sir has rightly explained. Another thing I just wanted to mention, we had a very emphatic presentation by my mentor and my guru, Captain Panda sir, earlier for almost 45 minutes. So I will just focus on very recent incidents, so that I think he has covered the holistic picture of the entire domain, what we should do and what are the consequences. Now I will just go specifically about what has happened recently. Since I am coming from the Maritime Administration, it is my duty to also assure you what we have in India right now because any emergency must can be dealt by a sufficient or adequate response mechanism. For that, as Captain Panda sir mentioned, the standard operating procedures are key at the national level. And at the micro level, the SOPs will change. So we have a standard operating procedure to handle any marine casualty. We have a standard operating procedures to conduct inquiry. And another important thing is the standard operating procedures to deal with the cyclones, which is the more critical thing. And then we have a contingency and anti-piracy plan. So we have a SOPs which is approved by the ministry, and all the stakeholders are diligently have to follow, so that our response is prompt and efficient. And another thing I just wanted to highlight, the consequence of any accident is not because of an accident itself. Because of the response or the lack of response, the consequence becomes unbearable. So that is why because we may be having a very little capacity to minimize an act of God or any other unintended accident, but the response is purely on our hand. If we take a proper response, which is reasonable, taking into account the national interest, instead of limiting ourselves to the New Mangalore port or Old Mangalore port or a coastal water, taking the national interest into account, we must execute the response so that we can handle the situation very carefully. So before I proceed with the Mangalore incident, I just wanted to you all heard about this MV Dali container ship incident. This is a Baltimore port. There's a 150-year-old bridge, which was connecting both the sides of the city. The container ship, while coming out of the harbor, collided with one of the spans of the bridge, which led to the collapse of the entire bridge. I think everybody must have seen in the videos. And it led to the closure of port for more than 2 months. So this is why I'm talking about a consequence. It was not something, normal thing. It is an unusual accident. Nobody foresaw it. But the consequence can be very major, and the port has to close for more than 2 months. Why I am showing this slide is, when the ship sizes are increasing, our trade volume is increasing, and the traffic is increasing, but our infrastructure has not increased. Means at least in many of the ports, including this particular Baltimore port. It may be the same in case of Indian ports also. So when we are trying to handle bigger ships with a bigger capacity and faster turnaround time, we must have the infrastructure and the response mechanism adequate to handle such kind of ships. That is the lessons learned by the Baltimore, and I think everybody can learn lesson from that. So it is not, I am showing you only to highlight the need to improve the infrastructure and facilities and capabilities of the port while we keep on increasing the volume. In this, I think our officers have participated into the investigation, and we whenever the Indian seafarers were there on the ship actually. So just to bring it to your knowledge, this slide I am showing it here. And this is one of the costliest maritime incident in the history. So you can see the consequence, Now let me come to our main topic. See, as everybody said, Indian coast is very much vulnerable because of a monsoon. See, in the last year itself, around 16 incidents happened along the Indian coast. Last year. All are, you can say that, I'm not talking about small incident. Somewhat, we call it serious marine casualty or a very serious marine casualty. 16 incidents happened, and most of them within that 3 months of monsoon period, that is between June, July, August, September. 4 months of monsoon period here, and some of them happen in Bay of Bengal in the northeast monsoon season. So this is the challenge. As Captain Pandasar already said, there is a huge traffic is going along the Indian coast, that we are all aware, because there is no other option. Ships has to pass through that region only. This is the main line of communication between the Gulf and Far East and the West Asia. So there's no other route. Everybody has to come through that. Unfortunately, everybody directly heads to the New Mangalore and then go along the coast. This has been the traditional shipping route, and everybody just follows that. Otherwise, they will have to go through the Lakshadweep Islands. So to avoid Lakshadweep Island, they come north of Lakshadweep Island. That comes, it brings the vessel very close to New Mangalore port. This is how the sea routes are always there. I think it is not going to change. So in this, if you see the dolphin incident, which is directly, I think everybody in New Mangalore port may be aware of dolphin incident, as the chairman sir rightly pointed out about the rogue vessel. This is one of such vessel, dolphin. It's a tanker. See here, this crude oil tanker, it was not destined for Mangalore. It was supposed to go from China to Gulf, actually. So the vessel, you can see this, I think map, I think you all must be familiar with the places mentioned there. It's, I think Surathkal is there between Kasaragod and Mangalore is nearby. So this vessel was having a blackout and engine, like generator failure. And they were coming close to the Mangalore because somebody has guided them, or maybe that is the reason I wanted to advise all the stakeholders. Somebody guided them, you come close to Old Mangalore, we will arrange a spare through the fishing boats and all. Those kind of assurances were given to the ship manager. So they came very close, almost 16 miles, and they came and anchored. But they are not within the port limit, but outside the port limits. And the ship, in all generator fail, blackout, basically it's a disabled vessel. So if the monsoon just started, 1st of June, in the peak monsoon, the anchor will drag and then it will just come and it will aground near the either north of Kasaragod or near the. There is no other option. This is how the current circulation in the Arabian Sea. Any ship which is disabled will come to the coast only. It cannot go away from the coast. Okay. See here, just I described that how it has happened, That is the main concern of the chairman and the port authority, not only New Mangalore Port Authority, any port along the Indian coast. That 1st June the vessel came and anchored, but the blackout happened 4 days before. Okay. Well, on their passage. That time it was not so close. It was a little far away actually. And they didn't inform anybody. They internally decided we will go close to Old Mangalore and we will do the repair, And then 4 days they were just drifting and coming close to the Mangalore coast. And then once they are in the anchoring depth, they anchored. Okay. So, and then you see this is the first incident of last monsoon. And when we contacted them, they said, no, we arranged the technician and spares, everything. They will go by a fishing boat from Old Mangalore to there. Monsoon has started. How can a fishing boat go there? And no tugs were ready to go to the ship actually. And then we had to arrange a tug, means we forced the owners to arrange a tug from Mumbai. And then, there is a lot of, once after the repairs are done, then we requested Mangalore port to allow the vessel to come inside. Mangalore port kindly agreed, and almost for 1 month they were doing repairs in the Mangalore port. But that time the engine everything was operational. See here, my concern is whenever we have as Captain Panda sir rightly said, you are allowed to make an innocent passage, okay? But when some ship is drifting, we should be able to identify such vessels. So that is how we need to have our Coast Guard, our Indian Navy, we need to have electronic surveillance of the entire traffic along the Indian coast so that we can take a preventive measure. Okay. Ideally what owner should have done, if there is a blackout, owner should have arranged the tug immediately. But that is a costly affair. So nobody wants to arrange a tug, and though he tried to come to New Mangalore port. So luckily this ship was having a valid insurance cover, so that's the reason we could manage the situation. So, but such kind of thing means ideally should be avoided by surveillance, electronic surveillance of the vessel. I think which is the responsibility of the port as well as the Navy, Coast Guard, and because DG Shipping, though we have a national AS chain, we are not monitoring the traffic. The traffic monitoring is the responsibility of the Coast Guard and the Navy. In fact, subsequent to this, there are many vessels Coast Guard has identified and told them to go away from the coast. That's being practiced now. And another, you see here, there is another vessel which is near Alibag, a small tug only. You all must have heard. It went in the monsoon season, it was towing a barge and tow line parted and vessel went aground near the Alibag beach. The Alibag is a very environmentally sensitive region. The tourists, thousands of tourists are coming there every day. But luckily, the ship was not having any fuel oil, like dirty fuel oil. They are having only diesel oil. So since it was aground near the coast, so we could immediately, tell the owners to mobilize the, you can see this photograph. So people in the low water persons can go and just, board the vessel from there. It's close to Alibag. Immediately our officers reached there, so we could, though there was small spill of diesel is not such a big issue. So they could pump out by the small pumps and all. So there were a lot of agencies which were brought in. But this smaller tug, but it can happen to other bigger vessels also. You see, they just rigged a hose and then pumped out all the diesel and then they could remove it. So here, the advantage is it is just we could approach. There are some incidents I will show you subsequently where you cannot approach. Then the situation becomes very serious. JSW Raigad, you all must have heard the very, is one of the major incident happened last year. So this vessel again, 25th July 21. You see, started from June onwards. Already third incident in July. It is aground again near Alibag beach. This vessel had a 15 crew member. They raised a distress call. Coast Guard evacuated everybody. Okay, life is saved now. But then vessel went aground and it was having a fuel oil. You see, just very close to the boat, just 1 mile from the beach actually. But since the vessel was having an insurance company, we could force the insurance, immediately appoint the cleanup agency, salvage agency and everything, we could manage. So that is how our chairman sir is saying that adequacy of insurance, checking the validity of the document is very essential for the port authorities to ensure that the documents are genuine, they have adequate insurance, they should have an insurance from an approved P&I club and they should have a classification society, preferably IAX. Though as sir said, more than 50 classification societies are allowed, but that is only for younger vessels. For vessels above 25 years, they must have an IAX society. That we need to ensure clearly. So here you see here, I will just skip it. Somebody can walk and try to approach the ship. Okay. Here the situation is like this. You cannot rig the oil booms because monsoon is vigorous. As you say, minimum 4-5 meter waves. That booms will be just flown away by the winds. And in a low water, you will see it is you can see the land. So why I am showing this incident, it can happen here at the Princess Miral also, the same issue we faced here in Mangalore. They rigged the boom near the entrance of the river, but it was blown away. After I think few days, the boom was drifted from there because the monsoon time, our oil pollution response and cleanup is totally inadequate. Because we can't do that in monsoon. So here, see here, they brought all booms and everything, but then there is no use. If there was a pollution, then the entire coastline would have got affected. This is as recent as last year. But luckily, again we could mobilize the team because of we forced the owners to engage the best salvage companies, and then they could again, for more than 1.5 kilometers, they rigged the hose and pumped out the fuel oil. That is the only option available. There is no other option. So then we inquired with the other agencies in monsoon, if there is a pollution, what mechanism do we have? We have nothing. We just wait till the oil comes ashore and start cleaning by hand. That is the only option available. So that is how the preparedness part comes here. This is a recent incident which I was highlighting. And as Chairman Sir mentioned, sir, before we just discussed two incidents, just to highlight what is the recent incident around the Indian coast. This Maersk Frankfurt, I think everybody is aware, But here again, though it is a very big incident, a major incident, I think, I don't know, hundreds of containers damaged, more than I think months of firefighting. But since the ship was having an insurance, ship was having a, they could appoint a proper salvage company. See, it could be managed well. So because us, nobody can foresee the accident, but since it was insured, and we forced the owner to appoint a salvage from within 24 hours. Initially, owners were hesitant. Coast Guard, 3 Coast Guard ships were doing firefighting. We forced the owner, the Coast Guard is only a first responder, but you have to immediately appoint a salvage company. So almost more than 20-25 days firefighting was happening. That time there were a lot of, I think, miscommunication happened because people were thought the vessel was brought near. We got letters from the Karnataka as well as Kerala, don't bring the vessel towards our coast, But it was actually that due to prevent the wind to coming to the accommodation, the ship was continued to be sailed actually, So it was just we were directing, basically the salvers were directing the vessel north, south, like that. It was doing zigzag maneuver, it was well beyond the coastline. But again here I must thank the New Mangalore port. They provided the tug facilities. Even Goa port also they provided the tug subsequently for providing services to the vessel, emergency equipment, salvage equipment. The Coast Guard also was giving like firefighting through the chopper and helicopters and all. It was a very major incident. But another point I want to mention here, in India we have no facility to attend to this kind of vessel. That is the sad part. So they were looking for places. So finally they have to go to Bahrain to such a big container vessel. We have no place to, not even berth the vessel is okay, but our terminals are, time slots are very tight. You can't just block the terminal. So we don't have any like a spare, not only the jetty, you need to have a space to unload all the container, IMDG container, firefighting and and segregating this. So they went to Dubai and then they finally went to Bahrain. So where they could offload all the containers and all. So that is how I think our Honorable Member of Parliament said, I think even it is the Government of India's vision to develop more and more shipyard and ship repair facilities. Now the ports are aiming not only for handling cargoes, more and more bunkering facilities are being aimed. That is a target of the Government of India. More and more ship building and ship repair. That is how we see the opportunities in any adversities. It is not that we want them to have an accident, but if there is an accident, so our repair facilities, we should have at least some kind of reasonable facilities in all the ports. At least in some ports, we must have it. So that's the aim of this. Here I just wanted to mention that under the control of DG Shipping, there are 2 emergency towing vessels. Basically hired by the Mumbai port and Chennai port actually. Only thing DG Shipping just only operationally it gives a direction. Otherwise it is a full-time employment by Mumbai port and Chennai port. So that was immediately dispatched along with the Coast Guard vessel. It was also doing the firefighting operation. It's one of the very, we can say that a major fire incident in the recent years. It again happened on July 19, 2024. You see here that there was a firefighting was going on continuously for days together, and then subsequently, in fact, there were one person died also. So we could disembark in a Goa port. It was only through a supply vessel. Vessel was very far off from the Goa port. And there was a pollution control vessel also was deployed. The 3 Coast Guard vessel was deployed. But since the vessel was having an insurance, they paid the entire capitation fee to the government. Means the Coast Guard. All whatever charges, everything was paid. But in case of Princess Miral, the insurance itself, the insurance company is was not even answering, and the vessel was not having a proper insurance. So then from where to get? So even for cleanup, they were almost struggling to even arrange a fishing boat. That is also done after 1 year of grounding. That they use some fishing boat to small, they remove the oil. So that is a problem with the non-insurance, the inadequate insurance vessel, which is, as Chairman rightly pointed, as a rogue vessels. Okay. This, I think many of you may be knowing, but I just thought of this old incident, 2021. I thought of just bringing your attention that one is the rogue vessel, inadequate insurance vessel. There are another situation where responsibility lies with us also. Us mean everybody. It's the entire all the stakeholders are involved in such kind of incident. It has happened in Visakhapatnam SPM also. It has happened in Mangalore SPM also. Okay. Because here in this incident, I think the MMD Mangalore has done the investigation and everybody cooperated with the investigation. So many lacunas were found actually in this incident. So this attack alliance was chartered by I think MRPL subcontractor chartered that vessel as a support vessel. You can see the SBM is I think is very far from port. Actually, it is just at the edge of the port limit. It is just at the beginning of the monsoon. On May 15th, there was a cyclone warning given by the Taukte, warning given by the Indian Meteorology Department 11th May. On 13th May, tanker berths in the MRPL SBM. And they continued, the already wind picked up, weather was bad in 13th, they continued the operation. And 14th morning, they completed the cargo actually. On 14th, they completed the cargo. There is a clear-cut procedure in our tanker operation. The wind force exceed 25 knots, stop cargo operation, 30 knots, disconnect the hoses. I think nobody did anything, in that. There is a clear evidences are there. I think you all must be aware of this incident. So, by the time that, on the 15th morning, when the vessel cast off, the vessel has to be there to give support to the tanker. Vessel cast off from the SBM, that wind picked up 35 knots. Okay. I think within 1 hour, the tug capsized and landed in, I think, Padubidri beach. I think it is near Udupi. Just it took 1 hour to just blown away, the ship tug was blown away by this. And then it was, you can see that capsized tug was later on salvaged and then I think recently it was removed. But in this incident, what I wanted to highlight, there were 8 persons were in this incident, only 3 survived actually. 3 survived. And this is a very small tug, 24 meter and GT, only very small tug. Such kind of tugs actually cannot operate in open sea condition. So that is the reason subsequently we have instructed all the port, any vessel operating in SPM must be certified to operate in all weather conditions. There were a lot of systemic changes were required after this incident. The way I am saying here, there was no oil pollution here. But in Visakhapatnam, the SBM hose, the coupling got opened. There was oil pollution. Again, the same thing happened. They didn't disconnect. No, they were saying, no, we will just complete the cargo and then we will go. That preventive measure is more important. So this is basically, it is, we can say that system failure only. Nobody in the system could exercise control and stop the incident. Okay, and the cyclone was coming. So subsequent to this incident, there is cyclone SOP Taukte. Then it went to Mumbai and created havoc in Mumbai, where major casualties happened. But when it was hitting Mangalore, we didn't realize the severity of the just started from here. Okay, so this system basically there was a lot of learnings that there was a weather forecast by IMD cyclone. So nobody took it seriously actually. They said okay, weather was okay, they could, because up to 25 to 30 there is hardly, you cannot make out a difference. And the MRPL, they had I think weather recording units and all. It was recording very high winds, but the person who was on board, you should stop the cargo as per the procedure. But he thought, no, another 4-5 hour cargo will complete. They just extended, then waited till the last moment. And then, so this is what I was saying, that at least we can say this is like organizational accident. Everybody was involved in this, So none of them put a stop button. And then manning, ship also was inadequately manned, and then small craft. First of all, this craft should not have been chartered by the MRPL for SBM operation. That is the starting point actually, Rightly, that's what I am saying. That is what I am telling. There are so many persons were there. So many persons.
In spite of clear message from PTMS,
Correct.
come back, they did not listen.
Because they are waiting for cargo to complete. That, see, that is because they said if they unload, if they stop the cargo, they can unmoor the vessel. Then again they will have to moor the vessel. So this is how the people think. No, we will just complete it. That is so. What about this kind of incident? It's a tanker and a big tanker is discharging at the SBM.
One more issue is there. The crew who are manning the small tug,
They are
they get overtime.
Correct. Yes.
The thing is, one day before, NMPA has given a clear message to them to stop the operations and come back. It is under actually control of MRPL. Who have nothing to do with that. The thing which motivated the tug fellow is they were getting overtime.
Correct. Yes, definitely.
That overtime has mesmerized them.
Correct. So that's what I am saying. There are so many. There's so many people are involved in such a SBM operation. It is not that SBM operation is the most critical operation, and at least somebody at every level, the error chain has built up, completely, and it led to a breaking point. Only thing we prevented oil pollution, but the ship got captured. 5 lives were lost actually. So and then the crew, IV crew, they operate only within the harbor. They can't go there. So means this is a learning point where we can take preventive action. Okay. And before that, there is an audio. I just wanted to so that you all, because some of them, those who are ashore, especially that MRPL managers, those who are on board, they couldn't understand the severity of the cyclone. They are shore personnel. They just go for a cargo operation, taking alleging and all, So subsequently we gave recommendations to proper marine qualified persons. Can you play that audio, please?
सर बोल रहा था सर, हम लोग SPM का होश पकड़ के पूरा रात भर था. इधर इतना सोयल है सर, 5-7 मीटर आपका सोयल है, और पूरा रात भर इधर साइक्लोन हुआ. पूरा रात भर जगा हुआ है सब स्टाफ. इतना पोजीशन खराब है सर. इधर तो हम लोगों को डाइविंग सुपरवाइजर ऑलरेडी इधर ही रख दिया, NMPT जाने नहीं दिया. और मैं बोल रहा था सर, अभी का कंडीशन जो है, अभी तो सुबह हो गया, फिर भी रात इतना बढ़ गया, इतना सोयल बढ़ गया, हवा भी उतना ज्यादा है. रोसी अगर खोल दूं, जहाज आगे नहीं जाएगा, जहाज पीछे ही चला जाएगा. कंडीशन, इसी कंडीशन में हम लोग फंसा हुआ है. हम लोग बहुत रिक्वेस्ट किया था डाइविंग सुपरवाइजर को, लेकिन हम लोगों का बात सुना नहीं है. हम लोग को इधर SPM में ही रख दिया. अभी जहाज का जितना सामान है, ग्लास से लेके, प्लेट से लेके, ऑक्सीजन का बोतल लेके, सब कुछ इधर उधर भाग दौड़ कर रहे हैं जहाज में. इतना सोयल हो रहा है जहाज पे. जहाज पे इतना मतलब ये वो टूट रहा है, वो पूछिए मत सर. और इधर खड़ा होने का कंडीशन नहीं है. 7 मीटर 8 मीटर सोयल हो गया. अभी कंडीशन, इसी कंडीशन में हम लोग कैसा मतलब जिंदा रहेंगे, वो कुछ पता ही नहीं है. अभी ड्राइवर को कॉल किया तो बोलता है कि हम लोग पोर्ट पे चला जाइए. अरे बाबा, हम लोग रस्सी छोड़ देगा, आपका होश का रस्सी छोड़ देगा तो हम लोग आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे. हम लोग तो पीछे जाते रहेंगे. इसी कंडीशन में फंसा हुआ है जो है सर. आप देखिए, मैं एक्वामरीन को ऑलरेडी सप्लाई वेसल को बोला है, जे हमको स्कॉटिंग करके कम से कम आप हमको साथ पे लेके चलिए. आपका पीछे पीछे हम जाएंगे और हमको फेरवे तक कैसे भी छोड़ दीजिए, उसके बाद हम NMPT एंट्री कर देंगे. ऐसा रिपोर्ट दिया हूँ. अभी जो है सर, आप देखिए, ये लोग जो है पोजीशन में ऑपरेशन, डाइविंग सुपरवाइजर जो है बहुत गलत आदमी है. यहाँ पे काम करवाने का कोई तरीका नहीं है. और ऊपर से इतना हुईफ है. एक्वामेरिन में बोलता है 5 मीटर 7 मीटर सोयल है, बोलता है लॉन्ग साइड करो. 4 मीटर 5 मीटर सोयल है, बोलता है लॉन्ग साइड करो. जहाज को डैमेज करके उधर लॉन्ग साइड करना है, ऐसा कंडीशन है. ये लोग का भाई हुईफ है. काम का कोई तरीका नहीं, कुछ नहीं है. इधर तो आदमी जिंदा रहे, वही बड़ी बात है सर. जो है आप देखिए, इधर काम करना पॉसिबल नहीं है.
ऑडियो. ये मास्टर का डाइविंग डिक्लेरेशन था एक्चुअली. सो पूरा रात भर बोल रहा है उसको जाने के लिए. तो हमने DG शिपिंग ने वो डाइविंग कंपनी को भी ब्लैकलिस्ट किया है, उसके ऊपर भी एक्शन लिया है. मतलब सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर था MRPL का भी बहुत सारा इंस्ट्रक्शन हम लोग दिए हैं. पता नहीं वो कंप्लेन किए नहीं कि. आई थिंक दैट लोकल डिपार्टमेंट हैज़ टू वेरीफाई व्हाट इज द प्रेजेंट स्टेटस. And this is happening everywhere. Whenever there is a change of season, SBM operation has to be stopped at a particular period and then it has to be resumed. So, but now we have a very advanced weather warning system. The INCOIS also gives a hour-to-hour weather reports now available. So I think that we must take a preventive action in that incident. That only thing, the 5 people have died there and ship is totally lost. But we are fortunate there was no oil pollution. Otherwise, it would have been a major incident there if a hose parts, you know. So that's just wanted to sensitize this. But I was just showing so many incidents within the last monsoon, 3 months. I was just highlighting it. This is a recent incident. Just play the video here. Can you play again? Just see that. The ship is at sea actually. Suddenly there is explosion from the cargo hold. Just I think last month. In that 4 seafarers have died actually. Again, this ship, the jurisdiction issue, this incident happened between 12 and 200 miles. The foreign vessel passing through an Indian coast. But once the explosion happened, there were 1 person died on the spot, 3 were injured. So they were immediately asked the MRCC for assistance because they were all having burn injuries. And Coast Guard cannot go so far. So the Navy helicopter went and rescued the 3 persons. In fact, naval doctors boarded the vessel almost 76 miles from Goa. And they checked it, okay, there were some signs of life. So they rescued 3 burn injury victims and they brought to Goa Medical College. And 1 second engineer died on the spot only. So normally body will not be taken by the Coast Guard or Navy. So again sir, now this issue, now that 3 persons were evacuated to Goa Medical Hospital and 1 person died, body is there. The ship does not have 4 engineers. All 4 were engineers actually. Now the owners are like, so shameless. They wanted to continue the voyage to the China. Means 4 people are not there on the ship. Now how will you navigate? So when we as a DG shipping, now here the jurisdiction, we have no jurisdiction right now. The ship is beyond 12 miles. They say a flag has given a dispensation. No, we allow the vessel to sail to next port. You please allow. But then tomorrow, if something happens, if such kind of incidents are happening around the Indian coast, so we need to take some preventive action. We need to know why such incident happened, and your 3 people have been evacuated by the Indian Navy. So we in the DG shipping, in the larger national interest, so we ordered a vessel, no, you please come to outer port limit of Goa first. Vessel was, means that captain was confident of engine was, they were maneuvering. Then there was a lot of communication. Port was saying, no, this vessel, how can you, why you want them to come to Goa? No, we said, no, it is not coming inside the Goa, it is only at outer anchorage, so that they can, we told the owner, you please replace the crew members, at least, you put an engineer. So that when you are sailing, you don't create a further hazard during the passage. You will be passing through again, after Goa, they will come near Mangalore and go to Cochin without any engineers. So vessel came to Goa and then we finally owners managed to arrange the replacement and all. Then now latest information is those who are on the hospital also died. Okay, so there were 4 casualty happened. But here sir, now still we are not able to ascertain the reason how this cargo has exploded. Again misdeclaration which is coming up. It was carrying some iron ore fines or something as was declared. But now we have sent to lab analysis and all. It is got mixed up with the direct reduced iron, DRI, which can generate heat on its own. So this is not only a small parcel. It is such a huge. They are the major, I think, major importer of steel from Gulf to China. The major, very big company. So then we, as a DG shipping, we said, no, vessel is having adequate insurance. Owner is a major owner. Then we said there is nothing to worry about it. It was a proper engine. So I think Goa Port chairman has allowed. They just came at anchorage and then subsequently, in fact, they came inside the berth also because everybody wanted to visit police and everybody. But since once you have full manning, there is no such risk as such. So basically, while we take a decision whether to allow the vessel inside the port or OPL, the points to be considered, the first thing is the insurance. Vessel must have an adequate insurance. Vessels, all the essential machineries are in working condition. Vessel have adequate manpower. If these three conditions are met, then only we can bring the vessel. Otherwise you can't. Otherwise then we told the owner, you please arrange a tug escort. If you want to go, you arrange a tug escort and go. But which nobody would like to do the tug, which is expensive. So this is a criteria which we need to decide. That if there is I was showing another ship, the Dolphin. We had last year also. We had a problem with the insurance. Then finally, but that was one of the approved insurance company by DG Shipping, which came up for renewal. When this incident happened, the next week was a meeting. We said, if you don't attend, then we will not renew your approval. So then immediately they sent that tug and all. And just for your information of all the stakeholder, whenever such incident happened, the ship is drifting, there will be always a tussle vessel. Is it a responsibility of Hull and Machinery Insurance or a PNI insurance? So we don't regulate Hull and Machinery Insurance for foreign ship, but for PNI we have a rules. Again, our rules are not applicable for vessel passing through the Indian water. Only those who are coming here, only they are applicable. So in this, due to this learning now, this time the government is thinking of having measures. So before I conclude, we can't stop the incident. So only thing we need to provide a sufficient response. There is something called Maritime Assistance Services. The DG Com Center, which everybody knows, a 24/7 Com Center. It receives the reports. It immediately contacts the flag state owner and everybody tries to assess the situation. And then it contacts the coastal state master. The incident happens across the world, other part of the world also. So this we provide. I think it is running based on the contribution by all the owners as well as the ports. So many incidents are many incidents effect or what you call outcome was minimized by our emergency towing vessel. It is the one chartered by Mumbai port, which is widely used. Mumbai western coast is like where the 80% incidents happening. So this ETVs are being dispatched immediately, and then they do the assistance. Because other tugs are not available daily, you all very much aware of it. So we have a 24/7 monitoring. So this is like how to prevent it, so that we can minimize any catastrophe in the Indian coast. And we try to coordinate for the emergency response and salvage, rapid deployment of assets. And then it's in case of the Dolphin incident also, the owner was asking, this is again Indian charterer, he was asking us why you are not sending ETV. They were from Mumbai ETV to come to Mangalore, it will take 2 days. We said, primary responsibility rests with the owner. Why are you not arranging the tug? So they were not arranging the tug. Finally we forced them, and then the contract was signed and tug came and do that. But wherever immediately tug is required, ETV is being deployed. It has saved many grounding incidents in the recent past. And then normally it works under the direct instructions of the Coast Guard, because they only know, they are on the spot. They tell ETV, okay, where to go and what kind of operation does. So it is first of all, it is not mandatory as such. It is only a voluntary guideline, but just to safeguard our own national interest. And this ETVs have been functioning since 2011. And I think recently Ministry has given approval for further 5-year extension. So there will be a fresh tender for ETV. Again, it will come. So the 2 ETVs are deployed, one by Mumbai and Chennai port. See the traffic, as Captain Panda sir said, that traffic in this west coast of India. So the west coast ETV was like used maximum actually, And the east coast ETV, whenever there is a cyclone, that is being dispatched near the cyclone area, especially near Andhra coast. And also it went for firefighting off Sri Lanka also, when there is a major tanker fire happened. And this is one ship which was went aground recently, so ETV could go and just pull the vessel away from the danger. That much only it can do. It is not a salvage tug to keep towing the vessel to Singapore or Dubai. No. Just the drifting vessel, our main concern is the vessel should not drift close to the coast. That is a immediate priority. That is how our ETV works that. And then it is mostly works under the clear directions of the Indian Coast Guard. There is a clear SOP, and it vision to enroll the salvors. Now the government will empanel the salvors. Then government can tell them you must have facilities around the Indian coast. That is in the pipeline now. And then Secretary sirs have been repeatedly telling us, please mandate all the ports to have one tug to have a seagoing capability. So that lot of discussion, because it is like there is I think 2 lakh rupees per day differences coming between a harbour tug and the vessel which can go on emergency towing vessel. So whether it is worth to have all the ports to have a one tug of ETV, or we have a group of ports. So there is a discussion is going on. I think very soon we will. In addition to the 2 ETV chartered by the port, I think the Mangalore and Cochin and other side Chennai has got it, and then Visakhapatnam. So there are, because the Navy and Coast Guard is insisting minimum 5 towing vessels along the coast. So what the secretaries have said, instead of chartering the vessel throughout the year, so we can say one of the tug must have the capability. It can be deployed within basically a manning. Otherwise, all our harbour tugs are proper seagoing tugs. It's got a very good. I saw the photographs of New Mangalore tugs in the video, like shining tugs actually. Only thing, the manning, they should have proper manpower. That should be deployed. You can have an agreement with the service provider. The company also can deploy. So that's what I think government is thinking in that direction. And now another important thing which we are thinking is not only vessel coming to Indian port, any vessel passing through Indian EEZ must have an insurance approved by the DG Shipping. These provisions are there in the. I mean, this through the new bill we can enforce this, but how do we actually implement? So that is how we have to work out. How do I ensure vessel passing through Indian coast will have insurance? That's how we need to have electronic surveillance mechanism, traffic monitoring, which Indian Ocean, IFC, IOR and Gurgaon, they are just monitoring the entire traffic. So we have also suggested any vessel which is stopping also has to be monitored, so that we can immediately track why they are stopping, what is the reason, whether they are innocent passage or not. So that is all being tracked, but not officially declared, because further you need to have a proper infrastructure on that. So, but very soon, after the bills are passed, most likely in the monsoon session of the Parliament, then there will be a requirement that ships passing through EEZ also must have a valid insurance cover, either from IG Club or non-IG approved by the DG Shipping. And then oil pollution capability along the Indian coast to be enhanced, because currently our capability will not work in monsoon month. We have experienced first hand in last monsoon. So we must, that is the reason we are trying to promote a private entities to set up a facility around the Indian coast. As I think Panda sir said, I think ONGC and all, there are some importer, they have a tie with the Smith and other bigger clients, so they can have a setup. And the last thing is the legal framework for marine emergency response. This is my last point. This is the first time in the merchant shipping bill there is a chapter dedicated for maritime emergency response. In the 2024, there is one chapter. Is there only for emergency response, because our risk and our vulnerabilities are very high. Indian coast, basically, Because all, as I said, 40% of ships are passing through so that government has understood that reason. The dedicated chapter is given. There is a powers have been given to authorities to issue directions in the national interest, not to go by the whether it is a minor port or a major port or a coastal water. In the national interest, we have to take a call, having adequate safeguards. We can't just bring the risky vessel to the within the port areas. So with this, I must once again congratulate New Mangalore Port for arranging such seminar, because we had a service seminar recently where many shipping companies themselves were not familiar, because everybody thinks that accident doesn't happen to them. Many shipping companies have no means. Suppose if their ship met with the fire, they have no arrangement. So then that our Director General said, no, we must sensitize the shipping companies, all the stakeholders about the importance of emergencies. I think New Mangalore Port has taken, I think it's been taking for so many years, because it's maximum incident happened in New Mangalore because of its peculiar location, as I think you said, historical trade route is from the New Mangalore, so everybody tries to see. I know those who are may not be aware, there is something called ocean passages for the world. There is a chart. Whenever we join the ship as a junior officer, so we if we want to make a passage plan, then we have to go to the chart. In the chart, the line is already drawn. I mean, traditional routes. It will directly tell from New Mangalore to Gulf. I mean, route is going on for thousands of years. So everybody, person who joins the ship, he will plot a course from New Mangalore to, whether he comes from Cochin, he is coming from Singapore, he will come up to New Mangalore, he will plot a course to Gulf. It is a traditional shipping route. So it has got its own advantage, it has got a potential. Now everybody is coming here, you can have a bunkering facility, you can have a repair facility, everything. That is how this region has got that much potential to develop. So that is the last thing I wanted to say, that it has got its own opportunities. Being your prime location like Vizhinjam, so it was considered as a transshipment. Now it has been developed. There was initially a lot of opposition by fishermen. Now it has been developed. Bigger container ships are coming, and it's the same way I think here also. This region, whether it is a New Mangalore or nearby regions, at least in the national interest, but this region has got a lot of potential to have a shipbuilding, ship repair, bunkering, especially the green fuel facilities hub can be created here. So with this, I congratulate one and all for attending this seminar. Thank you very much.
Change is the end result of all true learning. Thank you, sir, for sharing real life cases and shedding light on complexities of maritime adversities. Now we'll have a question and answer session. If any has got any questions, queries, our eminent, both the speakers will answer.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, Captain Pandasab told regarding the responsibility of importers on any incidents happening with the vessels. So can you elaborate on that? What kind of responsibility importer can take? Because vessel is chartered by the one kind, and owners is responsible for the vessel. So how come that is importer also be the responsible?
Yeah, every importer goes into a contract with the exporter on a FOB basis or on a CIF basis. Now it depends what you have done. If you have done it on a FOB basis, that means you are taking up all the responsibility of insurance and freight. So therefore, when you are taking the responsibility of insurance, that means you are exposing yourself to the risk. But if you are leaving it on the CIF, that means that is the owner or the ship which is taking the responsibility. But then my question is, be it FOB, be it CIF, there is always a deductible. Every insurance has a deductible. Can you sustain that deductible? That's the question.
Please.
Captain Pandasab and also Captain Abdul Kalam sir, I am asking a general question. See, as rightly shown today, 80% of the EXIM cargo moved through the sea and ships, out of which Indian owners are only 7%. So our present government want to improve Indian owners in India so that it can be given a lot of facilities. By adding this new regulations and cost-wise, as you know, today is a survival of the fittest. and every rupee is counted for the export cargo as well as import cargo. So new facilities, what all, I'm not talking about against the rules, because country is first, so we want to safeguard our country and we want to safeguard everybody. So but point is, when we go on adding these expenditures, tomorrow automatically the freight will be increased, and you are allowing only latest vessels. So for low cost cargoes, automatically if they increase the freight, then they cannot compete in the world market, especially from China and other countries. So what is the solution for that, sir? Because our intention is, we want to increase during this tenure at least 10 to 12%. First of all, you know very well, our government of India is very much keen to bring down the logistics cost, transport and logistics, because we are already near 13 to 15% out of the total cost of the export or import cargo. So, but our government wants to bring down less than single digit, 9%. But if we go on increasing this, whether it is possible to reach that 9%. So this is my question, sir, please.
Sir, you will be happy to know that last year we have improved our position in LPI, that is Logistic Performance Index. We have gone up to 38. Good. I feel very happy. And yes, we are yet to reach that single figure. We will be there. Now coming to development of our shipping, during my period, before I demitted office, one of the example was the Chinese example. Way back in 1970 or 70s, China went on a spree of government-sponsored buying ships. And that time, when we were just cadets and all, we used to see the Chinese junks, real old ships. They got the ships in thousands. What was the whole purpose? Their first objective was that not a single piece of cargo of Chinese origin will move on their coast or a foreign bottom. So whether it's a junk or anything, at least it is moving on my coast. And then they started slowly improving as they were, because when you have 1,000 odd ships, obviously you have repair yards, then you start, there are cascading effects. So today, see in 50 odd years where they have reached. So probably we could have, during my time, along with Captain Mohan, who was the NSB chairman, we gave a proposal to Ministry of creating a shipping development fund. So that any shipper who is shipping his cargo on Indian ship gets an incentivization, and it is to be regulated through the port, because ports were monitoring. Initially there was in principle approval, I'm talking about 2012. They were thinking of allocating 350 crores, doing that on that money, but somehow it did not materialize. So for last so many years it has not materialized. Now, as I understand from the record, the last year alone we paid over $80 billion in freight alone to foreign companies. Yes. So that's where the government has woken up, that out of that 80 billion, if we can get a fraction of it, 10% every year, in another 10 years time we will have. So the government's direction or thought process at present is to increase in a gradual manner. That is why we are going into shipbuilding activities with incentivization to the shipyards we will be building. Very soon we will be seeing it during our time, our ships going on our cargo going on our ships at the rupee term instead of the dollar term. Hope that day comes early, sir. Let's have some patience.
Sir, but we lost 13 years, 2012 to 2025.
Yes, you are aware how the things move, but definitely it is moving in a... this had not been... We should be very happy to know that for the first time, Madam Sitharamanji brought in shipping in the budget. Yes. Otherwise, shipping was nowhere in the budget. So we can see the positive sign. Let's see next year we have something better.
as rightly pointed out by Captain Panda sir, I think this is the first budget where we have seen so many things. One is the Maritime Development Fund, shipbuilding cluster, ship repair facilities, lot of reforms in taxation. Even now I think sir must be aware that the GST waiver, so many things are happening right now, so that under the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, now everybody in the Delhi understood the importance of maritime. So without maritime sector improvement, we can't achieve the 2047 target. So whatever policies are being done by the government are towards that, promoting Indian ownership and reducing compliance, taxation. So that is in that direction only everything is being done. So I think this particular bill, I think nothing has brought in which will increase the cost of operation. Basically, we are trying to minimize the cost of operation, minimize the tax burden. At the same time, we have to ensure that only the correct type of vessels are operating. The vessels with the proper certificates. That is basically a question of due diligence. Be it exporter or importer, you must exercise some kind of due diligence before selecting the vessel. But however, I can assure you, I don't think government will not issue any order which is going to increase the cost of shipping. We will do the overall cost benefit analysis, and then only decision will be taken, especially after extensive consultation with the stakeholder. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, gents and of course ladies, thank you very much for being such a wonderful audience. I know many people will have questions, but because of the paucity of time, we are stopping it here. But you are most welcome. You can always write those questions and email to our Harbour Master. And on behalf of Captain Panda and Ajad, he is my senior, he is my contemporary, I am assuring that you will get the answer within this week. Yes, sir? Can I say that?
Yeah.
Yes. So please don't get disappointed that your question has not been taken. It is well taken. Just because of the paucity of time, because we have another formalities to further go ahead. So I would request our Honorable Chairman, Deputy Chairman, all the dignitaries to come on the stage so that the speakers and other guests can be facilitated for today's program, please.
As a token of remembrance of this event, may I request our Chairman sir to present a memento to our guest speaker, Captain L.K. Panda. I request our Chairman sir to present a memento to our guest speaker, Captain L.K. Panda.
You also can come. Mr. Shetty also can come. Yeah.
I request our Honorable Chairman sir to present a memento to Speaker Captain L.K. Panda with a shawl and a memento. Thank you, sir. May I request our Deputy Chairperson Srimati S. Shanti Madam to present a memento to Captain S.I. Abdul Kalam Azad. Thank you, Madam. As a token of remembrance of this day, may I request Captain Manoj Joshi to present a memento to our beloved Chairman Dr. Venkatramana Akkaraju sir as a kind remembrance of this event. Thank you, sir. May I request our Secretary NMPA, Shri Jiju Thomas sir, is here? Or may I request our Chief Engineer S.B. Lagwankar sir to present a memento to our Deputy Chairperson, Srimati Shanti Madam. Thank you, sir. May I request our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sureka Oskeri, to present a memento to our Chief Vigilance Officer, Shri Padmanabha Acharya sir, as a kind remembrance of this day. Now I request our Harbour Master Captain Shailendra Kumar to present a memento to Deputy Conservator Captain Manoj Joshi, who is the instrumental behind all this organization of this great event. Thank you, sir and madam, for being facilitating the guest speaker and the dignitaries of today's function. Education is the most powerful weapon which can use to change the world. Friends, for the successful conduct of this special event, many minds and hands have contributed. Now it's time to acknowledge them. May I request Captain Shailendra Kumar, Harbour Master, to propose vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone gathered here. Respected Chairman Sir, Deputy Chairman Madam, CEO Sir, Captain Panda Sir, Captain Azad Sir, DC Sir. I deem it a great honor and privilege to have opportunity to present a vote of thanks for today's function. First of all, thank goes to our beloved Chairman Sir for presiding our function and giving a wonderful provoking speech and enlightening us about maritime adversity and role of various stakeholders. I express my heartfelt thank you to Sir. Our special thanks goes to Captain Bridges Chota, Honorable MP, Dakshin Kannada, on enlightening on various initiatives and projects taken by government for development of Karnataka and NMPT. And in spite of his present schedule, he has graced today's function to make it great success. I also express my gratitude to our respected Deputy Chairman Madam, CVO Sir, for attending today's function. Our heartfelt thank goes to great speaker Captain Panda Sir, Captain Azad Sir, for giving wonderful insight and sharing views in the workshop, Maritime Adversity and Role of Stakeholder, and telling us about the mechanism to how to deal with adversity. And I'm grateful, sir, मैं ड्यूटी कंजर्वेटर कैप्टन जोशी साहब का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं जिनके मार्गदर्शन में ये कार्यक्रम सफल हुआ है. And on behalf of NMPA, I take this opportunity to thank all port users, stakeholders, HOD, Deputy HOD, colleagues for their esteemed presence in this gathering, taking time off from your busy schedule and actively participating in the workshop. And last but not least, thank goes to members of organizing committee, Hotel Taj, for hardly involving themselves to a success of this workshop. Before concluding, I thank one and all for being parts of today's function. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for thanking everyone. We also thank you for planning, organization, and executing this program and make it a successful one. Before we discuss, I request kindly rise for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जगधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय
I request everyone for kindly join for the lunch, and all the participants can collect their participation certificate at the welcome counter.
And we forgot to thank